inside of the circle, move back up to the blue line. Michael Krall with a body down in front of the net. Brendan Martin from the right side circle fires one, and they score!
Here's Sam Camara up with speed around the rim of the boards. Works it up top for Baker. He's got room. Across. Scores! Sam Camara, his second of the year. And CMU fends off the Michigan Flint Wolverines by a final of 6-5.
Conference play is in full swing in the Michigan Collegiate Hockey Conference. Central Michigan seeking to bounce back after getting swept by Saginaw Valley State in back-to-back one-goal games meets Adrian, who are just trying to keep pace in the East Division. Good evening, everybody, and welcome inside Chili Martin Ice Arena on this Friday evening. I'm Devin Serra alongside my broadcast partner Reagan Cleaves for this MCHC matchup in Reagan, a pivotal moment in the season for both of these teams, coming in off of key losses in weekend series where CMU has dropped the last 6 of their 8 contests. For Adrian, they're coming off 4 straight. This is a pivotal time for both these teams.
Indeed. Central Michigan has hit a rough patch the last 4 weekends for them. They've dropped 5, they've only had 5 points in the last available 16. They've struggled very much as of late, especially against some very good teams in Saginaw Valley State, Notre Dame, and Florida Gulf Coast. For Adrian, they've struggled likewise against some pretty darn good teams in Lawrence Tech and Grand Valley State, and they're both looking to get back on the right foot here at Martin Ice Arena here tonight, and this should be a confidence game for both teams.
Recapping what happened last week's event, Central Michigan swept by Saginaw Valley. They were leading in the first game 5-4 until Saginaw came storming back in the last 4.5 minutes, and they racked off a game-tying goal and then a game-winning goal in the last 2 minutes. On the road, CMU was up 3-0 heading into the third period, Reagan, and then Saginaw, off 27 shots in that period alone, came storming back to put the Chippewas down and complete the sweep in 4-3. And for CMU now, we talked about having to rebound and look for some way to build confidence in this one. Well, how about a way of a team that's struggling to find their identity right now?
Exactly. For Adrian, they started out 5-1 on the year. However, since that, in the last 4 games, they've dropped those 4 games straight here coming into this one with season sweeps at the hands of Lawrence Tech as well as Grand Valley State. And they've struggled coming in, but going back to that Saginaw Valley State game, Devin, that second one on the road, that was the second time that Central Michigan has had a 3-0 lead after the halfway point of a hockey game this season, and it's the second time they've given it up. The first one came at the hands of Ferris State University back about a month ago. That was a tough game. Jordan Schmidt got the hat trick in the latter half of that one. And for Saginaw Valley State, it was basically once they got that power play goal about a minute into the about a minute into the third period, they just seemed to open a portal, and it was all Saginaw Valley State from that point forward.
Taking a look at our 2 teams here today. Before we do that, our look around the MCHC East standings. Saginaw Valley does sit at number 1 now in the MCHC East. Undefeated, 4 wins, 8 points in the division. Lawrence Tech, the Blue Devils, sit close behind at 3 wins and 1 tie with 7. Central Michigan finds themselves sole place of 3rd with 4 after 2 wins against University of Michigan Flint. And then those Wolverines sit at 1 point, tied with the University of Michigan. Oakland University and Adrian sit at 0-2 with 0 points. So a little bit of a mixed bag in the early stages of this MCHC play, but a lot of action tonight as Michigan and Davenport look to tee off at 8 p.m. time from Patterson Ice Center as Michigan 10-5 meets Davenport. Saginaw Valley takes on Lawrence Tech. Boy, is that a heavyweight matchup. That is who is going to claim dominance inside the MCHC East for now. Lawrence Tech swamped the Adrian Bulldogs. We're going to talk about them in our closer look at the 2 teams. Oakland University at Michigan State tonight from Munn Ice Arena. That's slated, or was, for an 8 p.m. puck drop. And then finally, Calvin College at Hope. That's a massive game, a hockey house game to watch. It's Hope's banner-raising night, Reagan, and a proud moment for 2 teams that clash in Division III football, but on the ACHA side of things have a heated rivalry game.
Exactly. Hope is two-time defending national champions back in 2021 and 22, along with a third championship that came back in 2018. That's a big night for them. They're banner raising against Calvin, and Calvin, a 6-4 team, Devin, that looks a lot better than they did last year.
Oh, they certainly do, and it's going to be a matchup to watch, as always, on Hope's Facebook channel if you'd like to find the stream for that game. Taking a closer look at the two teams here today, Central Michigan sitting at 7 wins, 5 losses, 1 overtime loss, 15 points, 2-2 on the season, 4 points, third in the MCAT East look regular. They were swept last week after Saginaw scored a game-winning goal in the final 2 minutes. It's now the 5th game in the past 6 allowing 4+ in a hockey game, and it's the 4th game they've lost now by 1 goal differentials in 5 this season. And you talk about mid-portion of the first half where it wasn't going their way in the early stages of October, and now into November, they set 2-4-1 in their last 8.
Exactly. Entering into that Florida Gulf Coast and Ferris State weekend for Central Michigan, they seem to have a commanding start to their season. Their second best start in program history at a 5-0, and since there, it's been very rough for CMU. They've dropped 6 out of their last 8, and they have 5 points in that span, something that they're trying to use tonight as a bit of a turnaround for. They've historically struggled against Adrian in this building, with Adrian having the better of them around 2-6 at Martin Ice Arena since 2010. It's very much a road series between these two teams, and we'll see how that works out here tonight.
And one where special teams are going to matter extra important. Adrian has struggled on their power play as of late. We're going to get to that. Central Michigan, for the second time this season, has allowed 4 power plays goals on a weekend. The last time that happened was against Notre Dame. We know how that series ended. So both these teams trying to, kind of like we talked about, just refresh and reset. It's going to be an interesting one for that matter. Looking at the Adrian side of things, 5 wins, 5 losses on the year. 10 points, as we mentioned, last in the MCHC East with 2 losses on the year. They've lost 4 straight. They only scored more than once in a hockey game in their last 4 contests. Game 2 against Grand Valley State, they've allowed 7+ goals in each of the last 4 games, Reagan. That's just not good enough.
Exactly. Adding on to that, they've been outscored 34-4 in their last 4 games, and it's just been utter dominance. Granted, they were a little bit short-handed. They got the bug. They got the sickness around in that Lawrence Tech series. They were down to 2 lines in that hockey game, but you got to battle through it, and unfortunately they ran into a red-hot Lawrence Tech team that honestly their year got cut short by Central Michigan last year in that quarterfinal defeat.
Yeah, and one thing to talk about too is Central Michigan beat Adrian College 6-2 in the MCHC tournament first round. And looking at this series history since that COVID break, it's been 2 wins, 1 loss in CMU's favor. Adrian split the series last year, winning 3-2 on home ice, and then CMU, as we mentioned, went to Adrian and won on their ice, and none of the MCHC tournament. Central leads this series with 9 wins, 6 losses, 1 overtime all time in this year. And like we talked about, how they've won 4 of the last 5, Central has. It's been the CMU's game, but Adrian has played this tough, especially even at points in the season where they've had differentiating records.
Yeah, exactly. Last year, Adrian kind of fell off toward the end of their season. They struggled as they got later on in the year, but coming into the MCHC tournament, we thought it was going to be a really good game, and Adrian played up to Central Michigan. They just ran into a red-hot CMU team that made it all the way to the MCHC semifinals.
Our scratches to report tonight on Central Michigan's side is a big one. The star sophomore from Novi, Michigan, Isaac Gibbs, will be out of this contest this weekend, for that matter, after he sustained an injury last week in the second period of the Saginaw Valley State game. Reagan, we talked about it all throughout this week in the articles and the series preview. A scary hit that we hope Isaac Gibbs is going to recover from, but in the meantime, a very disturbing sight to see him out of this lineup.
Yeah, exactly. Isaac Gibbs has been a leader on this team for the last 2 seasons. Even though it's only his sophomore year, he was the leading scorer through the first about 9 games of this season before Andrew Porzondik hit his hot streak against Notre Dame, and we'll get to that in a bit. But with Isaac Gibbs out, it's time for other players to step up for CMU.
Finally, our players to watch, presented by CMHIceHockey.com. For CMU, we look at the players that need to step up in the forward groups. Andrew Porzondik, 13 games, leads this team in goals, 12 on the year. He already matched his total from last season, had his 5-game point streak snap last week, so for him, it's important that he makes that top line as useful as it can be today.
Exactly, and Andrew Porzondik has been on a hot streak as of late, and we mentioned he had 2 hat tricks in the span of 3 games, and in both those games in which he had hat tricks, he had 2 points to go along with it. So when he gets into the game, he is virtually unstoppable, and the Chippewas need him to step up here tonight in the absence of Isaac Gibbs to get them a win here over Adrian.
Our second player to watch is the captain, Keelan Baker. Points in 4 of his last 5. We've talked about how the leadership core of this team changed a lot from last year. We need to see that leadership example set in this contest.
Exactly. It's something that Central Michigan has struggled with, especially since they lost their core group of seniors last year. That was possibly one of their biggest leadership groups in a long, long time, with the likes of Brennan Martin and Joey Simon-Selly. But for Central Michigan, their leaders now need to step up. Keelan Baker, Charlie Hayes, they've been very good through the first 10 games, through the first 13 games of this season. Charlie Hayes has already matched his point total from last season, and Keelan Baker, since game 1, has been contributing on the score sheet, but they need to do so now, especially with how tough this season has been for CMU.
Now looking on the Adrian side of things, our scratches to report tonight are Jacob Lughart, Garrett Carroll, Joseph Bernocchi, Owen Marks, Reese Eichmann, and Nick Kirksey. And we talk about players to watch for them. They are a very top-heavy scoring team. Ryan Pinto, the captain of this team through 10 games, 9 goals, 9 assists, 18 points. He's had 4 multi-point games and 4 power play goals this season. Only 2 points in his last 4 games, though. He's going to need a turnaround. Yeah,
and those last 4 games, again, have come against really tough opponents in which Adrian has only scored 4 times through those 4 games in total. And Ryan Pinto and Evan Bliss, our other player to watch for Adrian, they both play on different lines, and that's where most of their scoring comes from. They're the only players on this Adrian squad to have more than a point per game, and they do a really good job of distributing the puck and working, but they also, Adrian tends to rely on them, and if Central Michigan can shut them down, they're going to have a pretty fair chance at winning here tonight.
Evan Bliss also sitting at just over a point per game, but only has 1 in his last 4 contests, as we mentioned the struggles for them. Finally, our keys to the game presented by Optimex Sports. Reagan, you talked about how the power play was a struggling unit for CMU. They have to capitalize on every chance they get, especially with a team that hasn't had it go in their favor like Adrian.
Yeah, exactly. Last game out for CMU, they did not have a single power play opportunity against Saginaw Valley State. That's the only time that's happened this season. Before that, they had only been held scoreless on the power play twice in this year. So if Central Michigan can capitalize on those power play opportunities, especially against an Adrian team that absolutely struggles on the penalty kill, sitting at an abysmal 50% on the season, that's something where if Central Michigan can win the special teams here tonight, they can beat Adrian.
You talked about how this line is shortened because of the injury to Isaac Gibbs. They're going to need everyone in this lineup involved tonight. They're going to be running about 3.5 lines or so here. Andrew Siraki, a notable story, is going to move up to that top group to play alongside Nathan Bottles and Porzondik. It's going to be interesting to watch him, as he had 2 goals in that weekend series last week. For them, it's going to be about getting everybody involved in this lineup.
Exactly. Not only Andrew Siraki, but also Connor Morgan and the other freshmen that CMU has gotten production from so far this season. They need everybody to step up. You don't have your top player in Isaac Gibbs, and it's going to be hard without him, but you need everybody to step up. The time is now.
Finally, Reagan, we talked about this team having the first half woes, especially after they went 5-0 to start. It has to be a second half mindset as they go into the penultimate game of this first semester.
Exactly. This series, the second to last series for Central Michigan this year, they will play Grand Valley State second weekend of December, but that's not a division matchup. This is a matchup where they need to focus. They need to get the Saginaw Valley game out of your mind. Yes, you dropped a 3-0 lead going into the third. You cannot think about that game here tonight. You need to focus and get up early on Adrian and be able to finish. That's something that Central Michigan struggled with throughout the year against Ferris State, against Saginaw Valley. They need to be able to finish and play a 60-minute, 200-foot game.
That'll just about do it for this pregame show presented by Seamich icehockey.com as Central Michigan looks to bounce back against the Adrian Bulldogs. It's the last interconference matchup of this semester for CMU. Who will prevail? You'll find out next. Puck drop coming up here on CCHN.
Taking a look at the starting netminders presented by SeamishIceHockey.com. In net for the Adrian Bulldogs is number 1 Brandon Heiser, who through 2 games is 1-1 on the year, a .378 goals against average, and a .907 save percentage. As for the Chippewas, they send out Elijah Jones, who through 5 games has a 2-1-1 record, 1 shutout, 355 goals against average, and a .900 save percentage.
Thanks, Reagan. Starting lineups for both squads. For Adrian College, they sent out the forward groups number 7, Evan Bliss, number 22, Antonio Briggs-Blake at the center, as well as number 28, Austin Brining. On the defensive pairs is Dominic Somerville, the senior, and Maximus Norwood. For defensive pairs, for your Central Michigan Chippewas, number 5, Andrew Porzondik, along with number 27, Nathan Bottles, and Andrew Siraki, the freshman from Northville, moving up to the top line. The defensive pairings are Charlie Hayes and Brandon Clements. We've got 20 minutes on the clock here from Martin Ice Arena. Central Michigan and Adrian College to dig in. From right to left, the Chippewas in their white away/new home uniforms with the Central Michigan lettering and maroon hats and maroon pants. For the Adrian Bulldogs, they're all black uniforms with the first shot of the hockey game off the right pad of the goaltender, Brandon Heiser. Adrian in their black helmets, black pants, and black chest protectors as we got the first stoppage of the hockey game for the icing that Charlie Hayes reclaims.
Yeah, good opportunity there for the Chippewas right off that center ice face-off. Just 14 seconds in, they get a quick shot on Heiser, and he hasn't played a ton for this Adrian squad, as we said, only 2 games this season, and we'll see if Central Michigan can get to him early.
Taking in for Adrian College was Antonio Briggs-Blake, the forward, and he won that battle against Nathan Bottles, who the transfer from Arcadia University had a couple of points that last week against Saginaw. Most notably had a penalty shot goal to open the scoring, but it wouldn't be enough as the Chippewas eventually fell 4-3, allowing 4 unanswered goals in the third period of that hockey game. Adrian in their own zone, struggling to get it out. Central goes to the attack for the first time tonight. Charlie Hayes kept it in at the point, got it down low to the other number 7, Evan Bliss, the assistant captain, who got it up to the slot area for Austin Brining. Brining will play it out, gets it off the end boards, or rather up to the bench where he scoots it down all the way to Brandon Clements, who reclaims. Chasing after by Evan Bliss, he'll move it back to his own end. At the end board, Brandon Clements takes it up the wing for Sam Camara. Around that was the freshman Connor Morgan. Moved it out to center, lost handle of the puck. It allowed Briner and Brian Tanner to reset with it. The defensive unit pairings for Adrian reset the puck. They'll dump it back out to center ice. First minute and 20 gone of this hockey game. Here's Jay Nadeau. Shot off the right circle. That was blocked in front there off the stick of Zach Bogosian.
Good block and defensive work there by Bogosian to cut off Nadeau from that shot.
Moving in deep with it is Bogosian again. Goes to the net. Couldn't get a shot off that one from a sharp angle. Elijah Jones saved the freshman goaltender from Port Huron, stepping up with his first crucial save of the game. 18-15 gone in the first period. Devin Sarah, Reagan Cleaves from Martin Ice Arena for Central Michigan Adrian College. This interdivision MCHC East matchup. Both teams come into tonight off of losses and sweeps in their weekend series. Adrian coming off bad loss against Grand Valley State, one of which when they lost 13-1. And as we mentioned, Central, who dropped 2 back-to-back 1-goal games, the 4th of 5 1-goal deficit games in which they have lost. And for CMU, in a crucial time where they've dropped after 6-8, looking to bounce back. Now, Adrian on the attack. It's number 19 handling with it, Trevor Benoit, the senior, got it up to the blue line where it was mishandled by his defender. Now it's dumped in by Keelan Baker, the captain, one of our players to watch. Needs a big night. He's had points in 4 of his last 5. Adrian trying to move it out of their own zone at the half wall. It's tied up there with Thomas Anderson. He's hounded in the zone by Ben Rychuk, the senior. Moves it back up for Christopher Martin. We'll send this one off the end board in front, looking for that bounce intentionally to Hayden Flynn. He couldn't find it in his wickets.
That's a smart play there by Christopher Martin for Central Michigan, throwing it in. We saw something like that with Charlie Hayes down in the second Notre Dame game on the game-tying goal, and that almost worked there as it hopped out right out in front.
Good check there by Sam Camara on Thomas Anderson, his first of the game, and look out off to the Jets. Here comes Evan Bliss. Bliss across the way, couldn't handle the puck. Oh, trying to get over there was Austin Brining. Just mishandled it for a moment. A shot on net from a sharp angle. Elijah Jones saved that rebound, allowed Nathan Bottles to streak back the other way. Quick play from both sides up and down the ice as Nathan Bottles is taken down to the ice. No call. Dominic Somerville laid the hit and allowed Adrian to collect the puck in their own end. Bliss.
That's really good angling work there by Dominic Somerville. He had a goal, one of the 2 Adrian goals in that quarterfinal matchup last year. Good defensive work there on Nathan Bottles.
Good feet in front there for Siraki. Andrew Porzanic was trying to find him and just couldn't handle it after the injured defender hounded him well in. Now, half-wall hit there taken by Dominic Somerville, already getting physical with the first 4 minutes of the hockey game gone. Central and Adrian. And this interconference MCHC matchup, Central came into tonight looking at sole place of third with 7 points after they dropped that series against Saginaw. Adrian, after they played Grand Valley State and lost to Lawrence Tech, find themselves 0-2 in division play. Now it's dumped in quickly into the zone there by number 20, Ryan Pino. I got a chance to talk to his father, who was a teacher at Walled Lake Northern High School, my alma mater. I talked about Ryan Pino leading the scoring for this Adrian team that's very top-heavy this season, Reagan.
Yeah, exactly. Evan Bliss and Ryan Pino, the top 2 scorers for this Bulldog club. They've got a combined 32 points on the year.
Brandon Clements with a shot from the slot, went right over the top left corner of the net, just over the shoulder of Brandon Hauser. Now it's sent to the inboard corner. Tied up there by Jay Nadeau. Got it back in front for Connor Morgan. One-time feed, they score! Julian Johnson gets us started. In the first 5 minutes, Central Michigan leads 1-0.
Julian Johnson cashing in on the pass from Connor Morgan behind the net for his 4th goal of the year. And you know what? Connor Morgan not only assisted on that, but he kept the play going. He was able to strip an Adrian player as he was looking to get out of the zone. And at 4:49, Central Michigan strikes early, and that's what they needed to do here tonight, Devin. Against an Adrian team, they needed to get out tough, get out hard, and get the scoring on this Adrian team early.
The freshman Morgan connects to Julian Johnson, the junior, transfer from Adrian's Division II Division II team at the midpoint of last season. Came in and scored his first goal against Florida Gulf Coast, and now sitting at 4 goals on the season. What an impressive feat for the junior from Woodhaven. Reagan, he moved up to that second line to play up there with Morgan and Nadeau, and that was a result of the injury to Isaac Gibbs, and it pays off here in the first 5 minutes.
Exactly. You see Johnson benefiting from the better play around him. Yes, he's not on this third line with Flynn, with Rychuk and Baker, who usually they're a very physical line, those 3, when they play together. But it's good to see Johnson get the chance to move up and capitalize with that better talent around him.
Speaking of that third line going to work out there, it was Keelan Baker handling the puck, sent it down the end way, all the way to their own zone, and now coming back out with it is the top group. Nathan Bottles couldn't handle it, got it up the blue line there. It's collected by Maximus Norwood, the starting freshman for Adrian College, and now up the wing, here comes Andrew Siraki. He's got Nathan Bottles up center through there. Lost an edge, blew a tire, and left it there for Bottles, who got hounded up by Norwood. Took the puck back at center. Nice feed between the legs to Andrew Porzanic. Tries to step 2 defenders. Checked off the puck hard there by number 4, Dominic Somerville. And boy, can those two ever show off their chemistry at center ice with a nice nifty play. Nathan Bottles regains the puck, hounding the Bulldogs in the first 7 minutes of the game. At the left circle, to the slot, backhand shot. Saved by Hauser, and he collects the rebound for Nathan Bottles' first good look at this hockey game.
Nathan Bottles has been a contributor for Central Michigan all year, and he does a good job there on the forecheck into the offensive end. Yes, he got bumped off the puck, but he got it right back, and that led to a good backhand opportunity with the left-handed shot working from left to right. He got a good backhanded shot off there on Heiser, and Heiser made the save, squeezing the glove to his left side.
Bottles is the 3rd leading scorer on this Chippewa team. 8 goals, 5 assists, 13 points. One of 3 players averaging at least a point per game this season. And he did that with a feed of coming from Adrian, as we've got the first penalty of the hockey game coming up here to number 24, Zach Bagosi.
Yeah, Bagosi was giving Connor Morgan the business right out in front of us here in the half wall, and he got a good punch to the head, and the referee saw it right away, put his arm up, and called the penalty. So Central Michigan is going to go on the man advantage here at 6:40 of this opening period. Central Michigan has had a bit of a slump since that Notre Dame series, going only 3 for 12 on the man advantage. They get an opportunity here at 6:40.
Face-off won by the Chips. Got it back from Andrew Porzanik to Nathan Bottles, who waits with it at the top of the slot. To the left circle for Christopher Martin. Chris waits with it. Back to Bottles up top. Takes a wrister from the slot. Save, rebound in front, and trying to jam away at it was Ben Rychuk. Couldn't get the second step on it. Rather, that was Charlie Hayes. And it goes all the way back green to the end boards for Elijah Jones, who leaves it there. Bottles stays out for this first power play of the night. Their first power play in 2 games. Didn't receive a single man advantage other than the penalty shot for Bottles in that second game against Saginaw. And against a struggling Adrian College team that has not had special teams go their way, this is a crucial point. Central, top of the slot, shot, rebound in front, what a save! How did Hauser keep that out? Hayes, or rather that was Bottles on the back door after Hayes took the shot. Couldn't get it past the left pad of Hauser. Oh my, what a stop.
What a stop with the glove hand for Hauser, and he stuck it out. I thought it was in, but no, says the netminder for the Adrian Bulldogs. The sophomore stretches out the glove and makes the save with 72 seconds left in the man advantage for Central Michigan.
Heiser, a native of Dearborn, Michigan, from Cabrini High School of the MHSAA high school level. Playing stellar so far with his first couple saves in the hockey game. And boy, it's been those rebound chances like we've talked about that goaltenders, specifically at Martin Ice Arena, have struggled with. And that time, Heiser had to make himself very wide to keep this one only at 1-0 in favor of Central. Back to the attack now they go. Jay Nadeau leaves it there for Morgan. Down low, tip-tack-toe play in front. Oh, Keelan Baker was trying to get it to Andrew Siraki in the slot, and he couldn't finish the play again. Heiser comes up big.
Andrew Siraki got some lumber on it out in front, but he couldn't deflect it between the wickets of Heiser. And the sophomore again makes a good save in between the pipes for the Bulldogs.
Heiser with 1 win and 1 loss on the season. Pretty solid stats for a netminder that hasn't seen a lot of action. 3.78 goals against average, .907 save percentage. Sam Camara and Jay Nadeau. Top half to the blue line. Quick shot attempt in front there. Connor Morgan then to Siraki. They score. Siraki finishes the play. Oh, what a job by the freshman. Both of them connected that time. And CMU on the power play connects. It's 2-0.
What a great play by Central Michigan. They saw that it worked the first time with Siraki getting a tip out in front. This time he does it again with Connor Morgan out in front. Central Michigan leads 2-0 with a power play goal, their first in 2 games. And that's a good start for the CMU special teams, capitalizing on an Adrian team that has struggled all year.
Connor Morgan's second point of the night. The 2 freshmen connecting right there. Siraki's 5th of the season, and Reagan, he had 3 goals last weekend, 2 goals in game number 1 and 1 again game 2 against Saginaw Valley. And the freshman who's playing on that top line, replacing the injured Isaac Gibbs, playing stellar right now, continuing his short point game streak that he's got going here, now with 4 goals in his last 2 weekends. Here's Adrian coming back the other way, trying to get some momentum back in this game. But Gozi, the defenseman, tried to move it over the blue line, got stepped into. Quick shot from a sharp angle by Devin Bennett, and he got stepped into again, blocked in front, and it comes all the way back out to center.
That's a good block there by Austin Ritter in the right circle, making up for his teammate getting knocked over.
Oh, nice move by Bottles. Couldn't keep the line. They deemed that an offside.
Inch offside. Good call by the linesman across the way to make that call. And Bottles was centimeters from being able to hold on to that.
Fans, don't forget that the CMU Club Hockey Network YouTube channel is your one-stop shop for highlights, exclusive interviews, and full game broadcasts for CMU men's D3 and women's D2 hockey. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so as to never miss a moment of Chippewa hockey. Just go to YouTube and search CMU Club Hockey Network to find the channel.
Now that Evan stole my job as the color commentator.
Another chance in front for Siraki. He was looking for his second. Reagan, you don't even got time to chirp me, bud. The Chippewas are buzzing right now.
They are. A good opportunity by Siraki out in front. Tried again to deflect that puck. Past Heiser. 10:38 to go here in period 1. Central Michigan up 2-0.
Good transition work by Adrian to get it out of their own zone. They've been hounded the first 9.5 minutes of this hockey game, where it was getting us started. Julian Johnson scoring his 4th of the year, and then afterwards Siraki to repay that just 4 minutes later. Connor Morgan assisted on both of those goals. And for that freshman group, and how about the young players stepping up? We talked about how CMU needed to spread the wealth of the puck tonight, and they've been doing that so far in this game. Back up to the blue line for Brandon Clements. Gets it down low over to Siraki. There for Julian Johnson at the corner. Comes back up to Clements. Sends it across for Hayes. Hayes looks to turn up with it. Blocked in front off the end board. Took a lucky bounce, and no one was there in front to dish it home. Now Adrian gets it back out to center. Chipped up the wing there for Antonio Briggs-Blake. It'll allow Adrian to get fresh bodies on the ice, and CMU will have to go back to their own zone to reclaim it. Turn the puck over. Turn maturely. Ryan Pinto took it. Had it hounded off by Jay Nadeau. And now up the end boards. Good play by Julian Johnson to gain the blue line, but not handle it. Dominic Somerville to send it back. Jay Nadeau keeps it in. He'll turn it around to the end boards. Sliced off the angle by Zach Major. He'll work with it past the linesman, tied up in the corner. And now coming with it is Connor Morgan. 2 assists already on the night in the first 10 minutes. Clemens sends a puck on net. That one got blocked in front of the corner. Chopped away at there. Somerville trying to get it out. Nadeau was there to play it along with Sam Camara. It's flipped up in the air up to the center ice now. Coming back the other way. Here's Zach Major. Drop past there, one-timer chance. Oh, what a save. The freshman Elijah Jones, second try, and that one just wide. Oh, right there, Matthew Barocci had a good look from Ryan Pinto.
What a great save there by Elijah Jones, working from his left to his right. Great fundamentals to keep that blocker out in front and present it to the puck, and he was able to punch it away and out of harm.
But he has to dig it out. Adrian electing to go with their top 2 lines the early part of this hockey game, and why wouldn't they? As Central turned the puck over premature. Getting back on the play was Baker after it was taken by Curtis Clary. Sends it on net, still loose in front. That one's whacked up into the air. Oh, Adrian had their first good look on the net tonight. It was Evan Blackburn trying to jam it home and just flipped it too far up into the corner. Keelan Baker back now in transition. The captain almost gets slashed on the play. He's able to dump it in to gain the blue line. Chasing it after it is Hayden Flynn. Checks his man to the boards, Brian Tanner, who gets it out to center. A sliding puck goes all the way back for Breeden Kilb and allows Adrian once again to get fresh bodies on the ice as Central's third line going to work here. Braden Kilb left the puck there. Ben Rychuk took it back. Had to circle back to his own end with it. He'll go across there for Camara. Camara off his own end boards to the other freshman, Braden Kilb from St. Mary's High School. Was injured for the first 6 games of the year and came back in the Notre Dame series and played pretty stellar. Now, Adrian on the first good attack of the night. Sets up their forecheck. Turned the puck over, though. It was Ben Rychuk. He's got a chance to beat his man, but elects to just tip this one back to the goaltender and get fresh bodies on the ice. Smart play.
Exactly. Smart hockey there by Ben Rychuk, realizing that he doesn't have the jets to get past his man. Instead, just elects to poke it in, and this leads to some pressure here for Central Michigan on the offensive end.
7:09 to go in this first period. Devin Serra and Reagan Cleaves for the first of this 2-game weekend series between Central Michigan and Adrian College. Central coming into tonight, 7 wins, 5 losses, and 1 overtime loss. That only one coming against Notre Dame a couple of weekends ago. Both these teams right now lost their past weekend series as, Hauser got the early whistle after he couldn't handle it. And that one he's going to get away with after the referees give him that early one, Reagan.
I mean, and I get why they blew it dead. That was a really close. It looked like Heiser had jumped on top of it, but and from the referee's point of view in that far corner, he didn't see it, but in that instance, you got to let it go before you got to let it go a couple of seconds before you blow that whistle.
Nonetheless, it'll lead to this faceoff coming to the left circle here. It'll be tied up with Dominic Somerville and Andrew Porzondik. And how about Porzondik, as we mentioned, on the hot streak for them with points in 4 straight, or was on a 4-game point streak heading into the Saginaw series, 5. And had that snapped in the second game. And surprising after his team got up big in that game, 3-0. But nonetheless, the senior from Macomb has been stepping up to that leadership role, playing stellar hockey, averaging over a point per game. Now Central's Nathan Bottles looking to the slot area, get some time and space, trying to, and Adrian just blocks that one in front. Another try from Austin Ritter. It's still loose off the end board, and here's Christopher Martin back to play it in. Central with 3 good looks from a sharp angle, loose in front. Porzonic trying to jam, and Adrian Bott is able to block it in front. Oh, that's 3 good looks for Central Michigan trying to stuff it home.
what great perseverance there by Nathan Bottles. He was getting worked from behind by the Adrian defenseman, but he stayed with it, ended up generating a scoring chance there for Central Michigan with the puck out in front, and it leads to another momentum swing for CMU.
Center ice feed intended from Maximus Norwood to Pino, blocked off the skate of Connor Morgan. It allows Adrian in their own zone to reclaim it. Up the wing comes Trevor Benoit, the senior. Benoit moved it in, turned it over after Charlie Hayes collects it. He'll flip this one back out to the red line where it's collected by Devin Bennett. Flips it, had it, lost it, turned the puck over. Now here's Adrian with a shot. Oh, that was Bournet. That one off the left corner. Just blocker Stein trying for the try and couldn't stuff it inside the net.
Dangerous giveaway there for Central Michigan. Trevor Benoit at this right out in the middle of the slot. He had broad daylight right in front of him. Had a good save and good presence there by Elijah Jones to cut off that angle.
Exciting hockey these first 15 minutes as Central has had most of the looks in this game so far. As that one's going to be whistled for the icing on Adrian. And, you know, Reagan, we talked about how coming into tonight, Central played in a lot of high-scoring contests. There was no less than 7 scored by each team in that Saginaw game. They beat Michigan Flint 6-5 and 8-2 the previous week. So already getting on the board early, and really an identity has been that we haven't talked about. CMU has scored the first goal in the majority of their contests.
Yeah, exactly. Central Michigan has dominated the early parts of their hockey games. They've scored the first goal. They scored the first goal 10 times out of the previous 13 contests. They're 6-4 when scoring first, and Central Michigan looks to be getting out on the right foot here.
They have to play the full 60 minutes, though. That's been what head coach Tyler Catalan and this forward group has preached. As like we talked about, the meltdown last week and 3 numbers has been their deficit. If they get to 3 goals in this one, we'll have to talk about it a little bit, but nonetheless, right now, Adrian trying to go back to work in their own zone, down 2-0 in this hockey game, and they've only scored 4 goals in the previous 4 contests.
Icing was waved off as it was tipped down. Fans, stay with us for the first intermission report coming up in about 4:10 of game time. Devin Serra will have a look at the out-of-town scoreboard from the ACHA and recap the first 2 goals of this hockey game through the first 20 minutes.
Adrian's team is head coached by Justin Snyder in his first season. I talked to him a little bit before today's contest, and he talked about how this Adrian team has been at their best when they are attacking on the puck. He expected tonight to be a dogfight, lots of hits, lots of checking. We've seen that the first 16 minutes or so. This is an interconference rivalry game, and no matter their records, it seems like every year these 2 teams step up to play one another, with last year's contest being a split weekend series. Now Adrian gets some offensive zone time with 3:57 to play in the first period. After Julian Johnson and Usaraki got us started for the Chips. Shot blocked in front there from Andrew Borzanik. It made its way to the end boards and allowed for a sharp angle shot that just trickled wide from the left corner. And it goes all the way back down. Adrian has to reset with it.
That's great presence by Austin Brenning out in front of Elijah Jones, making things hard for the freshman netminder for Central Michigan. He's a big body out in front is Brenning, and Elijah Jones, a smaller goaltender, having a hard time seeing the puck.
Nice pressure.
He's standing out in front of him.
Nice pressure by CMU against the Bulldogs in their own zone, and it seems like the first period has been the fact that CMU just looks a lot faster, Reagan. They've been able to pin Adrian in their own zone, tire out their forwards before they even get a chance to make any offensive zone time. Now here's Austin Ritter with it. After it went off the Central Michigan bench end boards, Connor Morgan got it up to center through Jay Nadeau, mishandled the first touch, got it a second to dump it around the rim, and it will go back to the end board where it's collected there by Brian Tanner. Tanner tried to send it up the wings. It got to the slot area after it was tipped in front from Jay Nadeau after Christopher Martin's shot, and we get a whistle.
Connor Morgan already has 2 points tonight, looking for the 3rd assist of the evening for him along that half wall. He gets to the puck after it hopped over the Adrian defender along the half wall. He gets it up to the point to Christopher Martin, who lets the shot go, and Jay Nadeau's right there to tip it. A good scoring chance there for Central Michigan. They don't get it past Heiser, though.
Connor Morgan, the freshman, has been leading this rookie class in scoring this season. 6 goals, 4 assists, 10 points. Unofficially 6th on the team, tied with Keelan Baker for points, and now actually leading in that category at 5th with 12 points on the year with 2 assists tonight. So with 2:29 to play, Central Michigan on top of the Adrian Bulldogs. Devin Serra, Reagan Cleaves from Martin Ice Arena after it got pretty chilly this weekend. Along with Derek Steele on the sticks, 1 and 2, running the camera for us. We appreciate the help as well tonight, Derek. You can catch him on CCHN tomorrow as the women's team heads to Loyola Chicago to start their weekend series against that team. And Central, the women's team, how about them? Off to a 7-1 start. The most wins in their program history unofficially up to this point. And after the first initial rankings, sits second in the Central Division standings. And ACHA Women's 2. Good turnover play by Keelan Baker. Keeps it up the blue line. Hayden Flynn got knocked down on the play. No call. It was blocked in front. It's still loose on net. Oh, that was almost turned in by Antonio Briggs. Just trying to get the whistle. And oh, look out. Getting hit from behind there is Central Michigan's Hayden Flynn, and he's going at it now there. The battle of the 24s. Him and Magosi not happy with one another. He got shoved hard from behind.
Yeah, a scrum erupts between these two teams. There's no shocker about that.
And that's going to be Brian Tanner going to the box for Adrian. He must have been the guilty party, cross-checking Hayden Flynn from behind, taking him down. 1:42 to play. This will give us prematurely 5 skaters. Although you never know with this officiating crew that's had a couple of both ways the last couple weeks.
Should be a 5-on-5 here between these two teams that happened after the whistle.
The only penalty of the night so far assessed to number 24, Zach Bagosi, who I originally thought called was the guilty party. But Bagosi not going to the box instead for Brian Tanner. And with 1:42 to play, it will now be 4-on-4. As we talked about, skepticism. Well, 4-on-4, a little bit more ice with Central Michigan to work with. It'll be Nathan Bottles to dig in against the assistant captain, or it was going to be Evan Bliss, but he gets called out of the circle for a moment. It'll allow both of them to reset, changes. We get some scoring and time on the clock assessed, and now there we go. So a penalty, both of them assessed on the clock, 2 minute on the board for both. It allows us 4-on-4 play for the next 1:42 of this first period. Central won the draw. Brandon Clements, after Bottles took it, he'll streak wide with it to the end board. Gets tied up there. Good defensive work by Dominic Sarmville to pin him. And a feed in front, knocked away there by Ryan Pino. Forces the Chippewas back to their own end.
Good job by Pino to get his stick in the passing lane there. He got to it, and that disrupted the Central Michigan flow in the offensive, and now they come back here.
On the rush, Andrew Porzanic sent a shot wide. Brandon Clements collects it to the other side half wall. He'll chip this one in front, blocked off a body. Now flipped out into the air into the Adrian bench where Clements tried to handle it and could not keep it in play.
It's going to be a face-off in the Adrian end. 1:06 to go here in the period. The 4-on-4 will carry over about 9 seconds of it into period number 2. And Central Michigan, the last time, Devin, if you remember, they were on 4-on-4 on this ice, was when Saginaw Valley State ended up scoring the game-winning goal in their game here a week ago today.
And if you remember that correctly, Reagan, that was after the bench minor was assessed to the Chips coaching staff. An uncanny penalty that put them down in the 4-on-4 open ice and allowed Saginaw to eventually win that game, which led to the sweep. Now, Adrian gets some zone time again with 42 seconds to play in this first period. They've had a couple of looks tonight, nothing to write home about, but Elijah Jones makes that initial save off the right blocker. Adrian attacking. Thomas Anderson, the freshman, works with it behind the net. He'll get played off the puck by Brandon Clements, or rather Sam Camara, and now Nadu takes over there to negate his offensive chance with 20 seconds to go. Central trying to tie it up at their own end to get some sort of rush going. One last final push of this period. Camara through center. Gains the red line to the right circle. He'll dump it in deep into the zone. It'll be collected back for Zach Bagosi. Camara will hound him in after it went off Connor Morgan's skate, able to keep the zone. He was there with 2 seconds to play. None of them will get a shot off as that horn sounds, and that'll do it with 18 seconds left in the 4-on-4 to start the second period. Central Michigan, after Julian Johnson got us started, along with Andrew Siraki, find themselves up 2-0 early in this one. Stay with us, folks. Intermission report coming up next. Myself, we'll recap everything in this period and get you caught up on some out-of-town scoreboards. Stay with us. You're watching Central Michigan Hockey here on CCHN. You know what? Bring me back. Back inside the confines of chilly Martin Ice Arena, Central Michigan finds themselves up 2-0 in this hockey game over the Adrian Bulldogs. Hello, everybody. Once again, I'm Devin Serra for this second intermission report. First intermission presented by CMHIceHockey.com. And right now, CMU got us started after Julian Johnson scored his 4th goal of the season off a nice feed from Connor Morgan, who sent it in front from the end boards. And that put Central up in the hockey game in the first 5 and 11. Then it was Andrew Siraki scoring his 4th goal in the past 2 weekends after once again Connor Morgan got it to him down low. It was a bang-bang play where it found CMU up 2-0. And then afterwards, the first penalty of the hockey game would come up to Zach Bagosi, number 24, at 9:40. And CMU would be unable to capitalize. Or actually, they would. Sorry. That would be Andrew Siraki's power play goal. CMU now with power play goals in every game this season where they've had a chance, but 2. So the power play still keeping up with those numbers, sitting around the 27% mark. It allows CMU to go up, as we mentioned, 2-0. Really a pretty dominant period as far as pressures go. It was much of the neutral and zone and offensive time dominated by the Chips. They were able to get some good looks on the goaltender, Brandon Heiser, making his 3rd start of the season. And he had to come out big on a couple of really nice chances where he was sticking out left pad saves, glove saves, had a couple of early whistles from the referees, but nonetheless playing a phenomenal first 20 minutes, keeping his Adrian College team in the hockey game. Elijah Jones only had to make a couple of big saves, notably a big chance from Matthew Barucci, who had to go from the slot area from Ryan Pinto with a good look, but wouldn't be able to capitalize. So that's where we leave us. Unofficially, no shots to report from this period, but steadfast in favor of the Chips right now through the first 20 minutes. Now looking at our out-of-town scoreboard. We have nothing to update for you at the moment, but we'll hopefully have that in the second period. Our notable games of the week, taking on with Michigan in action against Davenport. Saginaw Valley at Lawrence Tech. That's a heavyweight matchup. We'll hopefully get a score update for you on that one. The 10-2 Cardinals coming off a big sweep over CMU. Oakland at Michigan State, and then Calvin College at the reigning national champions Hope, who raised their banner today, their 3rd official national championship as a program, going up to the rafters at the Griff's Ice House West. And there was a really interesting video posted on Twitter just a couple of moments ago. Calvin University had a little issue on the side of the road. They were heading to play Hope College, and they saw a solo car, a Subaru, we presume it to be, sitting on the side of the road, spun out in a ditch. And the Calvin players actually went off the team bus, elected to stop and help that player get up and back on the road. So credit to the Calvin College boys for lending a helping hand over there, taking on Hope College. That game started at 7:30 unofficially, as we mentioned, from Griff's Ice House West. That's all we have to report for this intermission. As we would like to remind you all, men's Division II action will be here from Martin Ice Arena Sunday to take on the University of Michigan Wolverines. That's slated for 7 p.m. Start time. And then the Women's Division II team takes on Loyola Chicago this week. The 7-1 Women's Chippewas, unofficially ranked 2nd. Or I should say official now because it came in from the ACHA. 2nd in the Central Division standings, just behind Sioux College, who sit at that number 1 spot, as well as Miami, Ohio, rounding out 3rd place. So, as we mentioned, the women's team off to their best start in program history, the most wins ever in their program, and looking for more as they head to Chicago here in the next couple of days. That's all we have for this first intermission report presented by CMHIceHockey.com. Stay tuned. Will the Chippewas keep the foot on the gas pedal? We'll find out. Second period action next from Martin. You're watching Central Michigan Hockey here on CCHN. Ahead of second period action here from Martin Ice Arena. I'm Devin Serra alongside Reagan Cleaves. Derek Steele running the sticks on the camera on 1s and 2s. And after a pretty dominant first period, Reagan Central finds themselves up 2-0 from Julian Johnson's initial goal. Assist coming from Connor Morgan and Jay Nadeau. Not only on that, but on Andrew Siraki's power play goal. And Reagan, this penalty kill unit for Adrian continues to struggle. They were 35th among 55 teams at a 55.6% rate, and boy, that is abysmal for a penalty kill group, and once again struggling tonight.
Yeah, it is abysmal, but the thing is they don't struggle through the first part of their penalty kills. They do put, most of the time, Pino and Bliss are on separate lines, 5-on-5, but on the penalty kill, they do put them out as the first unit for Adrian, and they do a good job killing off penalties in the first half. However, come the second half, their second unit gets tired, and that's where teams tend to pounce on the power play.
From left to right, Central Michigan in their maroon buckets, white jerseys with the Central Michigan lettering, and their maroon pants. Adrian on the right from their black, head, chest, and pant. With CMU at the first initial hop of the game, up 2-0. Forces Adrian back into their first own zone. Now it transitions the other way. Charlie Hayes up the corner. There for Brandon Clements, the freshman, playing in now his 12th start of the season. Missed time in that first Saginaw game. A solid defenseman, freshman from Clarkson, Michigan, still looking for his first point of the year, surprisingly, Reagan, where he's honestly looked like a pretty heavy benefactor to Central Michigan's transition play and forecheck.
Yeah, and just because he hasn't made an impact on the score sheet doesn't mean that he's been a bad player for Central Michigan. He's a great defenseman as he boxed down his man right there. And the net comes off. It's Mornings. We've had some trouble with that net down to our left, talking with our social media manager and photographer, Joe and Lucas, during that first intermission. They said that on our first goal, the net came off and it shouldn't have counted, but the referees missed it.
So a lucky break for the Chippewas. That was scored by Julian Johnson, and it was a bang-bang play from Connor Morgan, who fed it to him out in front off an end-board feed. And Nathan Bottles trying to stuff it short side or get it back. That was Elijah Jones making the save, the freshman from Port Huron, Michigan this season, with 2 wins, 1 loss, 1 overtime loss, 2.95 goals against average, .854 save percentage, and a freshman who pitched the shot against Lake Superior earlier this year. This is the first time we've seen him in a while get the start in the first game ahead of Lauren Jones.
Exactly, and a bad giveaway there for Christopher Martin along the breakout. He gave it right to an Adrian player, and that led to Adrian getting some time on the forecheck in the offensive end, getting some pressure set up around Elijah Jones, so Central Michigan can't keep making those mistakes throughout this game.
First 2 minutes gone in this second period. Up 2-0 is CMU, working behind Central's, Adrian's own zone. Zach Bagosi tied up there. It was Hayden Flynn hounding him on the puck. Christopher Martin gets it back at center. He'll hold it. Trying to deke off the other number 28, Austin Brining, who'll work it in, keep it at the blue line, and force it back out, squirt it the other way. Austin Ritter off his own half wall inboard. Keeps the blue line out. Or rather, Adrian keeps the zone. Now tied off there by Andrew Siraki. Had the second goal of this hockey game. He'll flip this one out. Hard check to the boards there by Brian Tanner. The first good hit of the second period. And it allows Adrian to get it back in the zone, but now it's shot attempt there from Martin right at point blank range from the slot. Allows his team to keep the zone. Morgan working with it up top. To the slot area, left circle chance there by Julian Johnson looking for his second. And a save there by Heiser to get the whistle.
Connor Morgan trying to start things once again for Central Michigan in the offensive end. A good pass to find Johnson alone on the half wall. And a good shot there by Johnson. He didn't have anybody out in front, so it was easily seen by Heiser, but get shots on goal. The key to win hockey games, get shots. Central Michigan, in games they have had 40-plus shots. They are 6-1 on the year.
CMU, a team that hasn't seen a whole lot of shots, at least in their favor, in the last 2 contests. They only had 27 in that second game against Saginaw, and albeit only 2 shots on the net in that third period. Reagan, after we talk about the collapse and a 3-goal lead,
And that's really what cost them, Devin. The fact that they could not get opportunities in on goal. They got them in the opening 2 periods. They had 25 shots in the first 40 minutes. They just could not get anything going in. And now a penalty is going to come up on Adrian.
Oh, look out. Evan Thomas was working with it. The sophomore from Carmel, Indiana, from Carmel High School, trying to work with it and stepped into a player. It looks like going to the box here will be himself for the 2 minutes. So Adrian now on their second penalty kill of the night. CMU had a power play goal earlier from Andrew Siraki. That came at about 9:50 of the second period. So CMU going back to work on their power play. They've scored in every game down this season, all but 2 where they've had a power play chance, Reagan. And another chance right here where Andrew Siraki gets the tie-in, or Andrew Porzondik.
Exactly. In Central Michigan, they need to be able to capitalize because Adrian will have to go down to their second penalty kill unit at some point, and that's where the Bulldogs struggle. We talked about it. They sent Pinto and Bliss out initially. They do a good job of killing penalties, just like now. They win the face-off, send it down the ice. Good start to the penalty kill.
And absolutely, forcing CMU back to their own zone.
Yeah, but Central Michigan needs to keep up that power. Oh, look out, a bad pass through neutral ice.
It's taken over there by Maximus Norwood, who sent it in on the wing side there. Intended a pass in for Antonio Briggs-Blake. Couldn't handle it. And now it's Ben Rychuk working with it. Boxed out his man on the backhand. Got it back up to the blue line for Christopher Martin. Across for Charlie Hayes. Sends one on net, trying to look for that second chance. And that one read wide.
How many times have we seen that pass from Martin to Hayes work this season? There's a good shot by Porzondik right on, and a good save there by Hester. But we've seen that play D to D, left or right to left at the blue line, and Charlie Hayes from Christopher Martin has been a traditional combo for Central Michigan this season. They try it again there. They get another good opportunity off of the rim around, off the deflection.
And those two seniors complement a new leadership group for CMU. Christopher Martin, the assistant captain this season, took over the leadership role after his brother Brendan Martin retired officially from hockey for Central Michigan. He wanted to make this year the one they win it all, cap off his career with an Natty. He's had a pretty good start to the season so far. Now working in with it, here's Nathan Bottles over the blue line. Tapped off, sent it across there. Good chance there from Hayes, and that just turned it wide. Out of the half wall here. Back up top to Martin. Once again, 48 seconds to play in CMU's second power play of the night from a sharp angle. That one turned wide, tried to go glove side. Hayes gets it back. Across for Bottles. One touch pass. Hayes down low to Porzondik. Back up to Hayes. One timer. Wide. Bottles gets it back. Short side. Stuffs it home. Safe there by Hauser. And now it comes back now to the half wall. Porzondik again to Hayes. Down low. One touch for Bottles. Trying to send it. Oh, Heiser with 3 big stops in the last 30 seconds to keep this one at a 2-man advantage for Central.
He has done a phenomenal job here tonight for the Bulldogs, keeping his team in it time and time again, and some great offensive pressure for Central Michigan in the offensive end, getting some shots on goal. Heiser's had to make a couple of good saves. Now they get that second power play unit out there for CMU. Let's see if they can do anything.
This Adrian College team really hasn't had a solidified number 1 goaltender this season. We've seen 4 different goaltenders in action for the Bulldogs. All 4 of them played in that series against Grand Valley State. Right now, Heiser got the start, unofficially his 3rd of the year on our scoring chart. And he's playing well so far through the first 25 or so minutes. 14:32 to go. That'll end Central's second power play of the night. They go 1 for 2. As that one ends there, a couple of good looks, but Heiser comes up big for the Bulldogs. Now over the blue line here, moving in quickly is Devin Bennett to the slot area. Tried to leave it there for Trevor Benoit. Got tied up with his man Jay Nadeau, and he boxed it out to the corner where it allowed Camara to take it back.
Good job there by Central Michigan to negate that opportunity. The Bulldogs had numbers, but Jay Nadeau coming back on the back check, ties up his man, negates that scoring opportunity.
Maximus Norwood in his own end. Takes it the freshman defenseman. Detroit, Michigan, last play for the Flint Junior Firebirds of the 18 under club. Here's Jay Nadeau with a backhand flipped right into the glove of Heiser for another whistle.
Time to take a look, fans, at this date in Chippewas history. Central Michigan has had 10 years of hockey, and we take a look at just one snippet. Back in 2017, 11 separate Chippewas collected goals in a 10-2 thumping of the Michigan Wolverines here at what was then called Isabella County Events Arena. The Chippewas scored 4 goals in both the first and third periods and matched the Wolverines' output of 2 goals in the second. 3 Chippewas, Dalton Sutherland, Jason Pischke, and Nicholas Wink had 3 points on the night, with Pischke collecting 4, while Trevor Whitehead stopped 16 of 18 Michigan Flint shots in between the pipes.
Look out, 2-on-1 chance, Richter by Austin Ritter had Hayden Flynn right there looking worth it.
That is your date in Chippewa history.
Thanks, Reagan. I didn't let you finish it off with this game.
You're good.
A very nice tidbit of information. You mentioned Jacob St. Andre, one of the most versatile scorers in Central Michigan history, as we got a penalty coming up here.
Cross-check going to come to Central Michigan University. It looks like Ben Rychuk pleading his case as he goes to the box. But Ben Rychuk getting sent off here at the 6:59 mark for what is his 20th penalty minute of the year. That'll put Adrian on their first power play of the night.
So Rychuk to the box for cross-checking. As Reagan mentioned, leading this team in penalty minutes, or at least he was. And last season he did as well for 2 minutes on the clock. He assisted on Keelan Baker's goal last week at Saginaw Valley. Known for his physicality. Don't he get inside the opponent's head, and that time he got inside his own head as he got the cross-check call right there. It puts Adrian on their first power play of the night. And boys, an important one after they've been dominated by the Chips in the first 25 minutes of this hockey game. A wrister from the right slot saved by the freshman goaltender Elijah Jones. And working in there in the slot area was Henry Darnell.
Yeah, good save there by Elijah Jones. He had one a little bit earlier in that sequence that came from the top of the left circle. He had no vision of that puck, but he was able to make the save here. 12:43 to go, period 1.
A good dig-in effort there by number 22, Antonio Briggs-Blake, for Adrian, the sophomore from Oxon Hill, Maryland, played for the Bradford Bulls. And that one's shot, they score! Andrew Porzondek! All the way down the ice the other way and put CMU short-handed up 3-0.
And you know what, Devin? We might need to send this one into Sportsnet. If you're a goaltender, tend the goal. Coming out of his net there was Brandon Heiser. He gave the puck away to Porzondek behind the net, who's wrapped it around and stuffed it home for the Central Michigan second shorthanded goal of the year, Devin. And I believe both of them have come from Andrew Porzondek.
He did. He had one against Saginaw in that first game. Porzondek from Macomb, Michigan, now 13 goals on the year, a team leading 22 points. He came off ACHA career highs last season, had points in 5 heading into that Saginaw series, didn't get on the board, and now gets one in this game. So points in 5 of his last 6 contests for the senior. And now working with his team in a 3-0 lead, Adrian tries to storm back the other way. Over the line, quickly moving with it is Zach Major. He'll turn wide. Tries to pull his defender out. Didn't work. Jay Nadu stayed with him. And now drop pass there, defended by Connor Morgan. Across the way there to Matthew Barrucci. He got tied up. Blocked the pass intended for in the slot area. Tied up from Jay Nadu. Now the Bulldogs work with it back up top. Bogozzi. Touch passing with Barrucci. Just trying to get this one down low. They do. Morgan ties off the end boards and clears the zone.
There was some good cycle there for Adrian. 23 seconds left in the then Rychuk penalty. Central Michigan has gotten a shorthanded goal to put them up 3-0.
One touch. Ryan Pino from the slot. Saved there by Elijah Jones on the blocker side. Down low they work with it. Evan Bliss takes it. The 2 leading scorers for the Bulldogs out on the ice. A sharp angle shot from Bogozzi at the top of the dots. Or the blue line. Takes that one again there. Point blank save in the 5-hole area for Jones. The freshman netminder with 2 saves so far. That ends Adrian's first power play of the night. Oh, Pino was looking for a feed in front there from Bliss. Just couldn't get enough firepower on it. Christopher Martin sends one in front there. Nobody home. Intended it for Nathan Bottles. And the other way, the Chips work with it. The third power play opportunity for either team tonight ends. And we get a whistle.
A hand pass is going to be called here on the Looks like it's going to be called on Central Michigan here and come outside the zone. Central Michigan has killed off the first power play of the evening for Adrian. That's a good sign for them, especially having given up power play goals in 3 straight games and 5 of the last 6 dating back to that Notre Dame series.
Face-off draw, streaks all the way back to central zone. Front in front there for Pinto. Oh, what a job by Bliss to get it to the captain. And he had a point-blank chance there, stopped by Elijah Jones.
Elijah Jones flashing the leather on that left hand. He nabs it out of the air on that one-timer from Pinto in the slot. And Bliss and Pinto getting back together. It looks like Adrian's Justin Snyder, their head coach, has decided to put them on the same line here in this second period, and it's done them some good. They've been able to get a couple of more scoring opportunities in the second period as we are just about halfway through this hockey game.
Evan Bliss and Ryan Pinto trying to connect their second time in about 40-second span. They were looking to touch there for the sophomore from Woodhaven, Bliss, and Ryan Pinto, the senior from Novi. 2 versatile players leading this team by scoring in a lot. 9 goals in the year for both of them. Pinto leads this team in points unofficially. 9 assists, 18 points on the year. 15 for Bliss. And we talk about that and say that because those are the key marquee players that head coach for them, Justin Snyder, is trying to get going. Brandon Clements works it up the half wall here. Kept into the zone, or sent back rather, by Dominic Somerville. In 10 games, 4 assists, 4 points on the year. Here's Nathan Bottles turning back the other way. 1-touch feed from Siraki. He tries to turn wide with it, hounded off by Somerville well. He'll now tie him up at the end board. Taken over by Ben Rychuk. Rychuk looking for a feed in front, no one to go to. Sends it back up top for Clements. Sends this one well wide. The other way for the other freshman, Camara. Now it's tied up by Siraki. Defended well there by Maximus Norwood, the freshman from Detroit. Now, Brandon Clements again takes it back. Left it there for Keelan Baker, missed on the pass. That one touched off the blade of Rychuk and back out to Briggs, who will handle it. Sends it across the wing for Somerville, the senior from Dearborn. He'll handle it through center. Missed a pass there intended for Ryan Pinto, looking a little agitated after another missed pass. Finds himself in a 3-0 deficit here against CMU, who has virtually dominated the offensive zone time in the first 20. And then came back strong in the second, but good saves by Elijah Jones keeps this one in the 3-0 nod.
And you talk about Evan Bliss, who now steps onto the ice as part of that line change for Adrian, on with Briggs Blake as well as Brinning. But last year, Devin, in 3 games against Central Michigan, he had a point per game, 2 goals and 1 assist, especially in that 3-1 victory for Adrian here last season. The last game before the break for Central Michigan, that was the second weekend of December. These 2 teams meeting a little bit earlier this season and battling it out here at Martin.
Good battle at the end boards, won by the Chips, who get it over the blue line. Keelan Baker gets it up to Ben Rychuk, who elects to leave it for his defender. Tied up in his wickets. Evan Bliss, the sophomore, came in to help out and got it back, and now finally putting Central Michigan on the buzzer a little bit with 8:10 to go in the second period. Find themselves down 3-0 after Angie Porzondik scored an odd goal shorthanded after the goaltender Heister for the Bulldogs came out to play it. Now Ben Rychuk up the wing takes a feed from Braden Kiel. He'll move in with it. Nice move to get around 1, 2, 3 defenders. Shot on net. Just turned that aside wide. Oh, what nifty moves there from the senior that we don't see a whole lot.
No, but he did use his physical size to get to the outside and get past Brian Tanner, but it was also a good defensive play there by the Bulldog defenseman to be able to work the puck free, and now Julian Johnson doing some defensive work.
Antonio Briggs-Blake tries to work it in. The sophomore turned the puck over. The Bulldogs got it back to the blue line, but then Connor Morgan streaked in over. Lost his stick. Wow.
Oh, no.
Laser fire through the air. Connor Morgan got set down on the play, and that one has to draw a whistle.
And look who's going to the box. It's number 3, Brian Tanner. his third penalty of the evening. Connor Morgan, good to see him get up. A scary knee-on-knee collision there. And fans, this is a reminder that the broadcast of today's game is a copyrighted presentation of the American Collegiate Hockey Association, the CMU Club Hockey Network, and more all television. No reproduction, retransmission, or other distributions of the descriptions or accounts of this game may take place without the express written consent of the ACHA, CCHN, and MHTV.
So the freshman from Woodhaven, Brian Tanner, going to the box. Allows CMU for their third power play of the night. They are 1 for 2 so far. A nice shot from Sam Camara, another one by Connor Morgan. That one turned aside wide. Heister, 2 pretty big stops right there. Got some help from his defenseman in front. And it's trying to get it out of the zone swiftly as the Bulldogs, who have a hard time whacking their sticks away at it. 6:57 to go in this hockey game. 1:37 on the power play. Elijah Jones just leaves it there for Jay Nate, who has to collect it there, but he'll touch it up.
Played with a high stick by Central Michigan, so Connor Morgan touching it will bring a stoppage to play.
Pretty interesting story I heard a little bit ago. Adrian's program started about a decade or so around the same time as Central Michigan. Had a assistant or player trying out for the Division II team for Adrian by the nickname of Van Giesen. The boys would call him Goose there. And this story comes from a parent source of the Adrian team. They talked about how he tried out for the D2 team, didn't make the cut in the lineup, and so they told him to keep working. So he went to some pickup skates, went to play pickup hockey one weekend, and took a nasty fall after he was hit from behind by a older fella, as that one's flipped up into the air off of a Bulldog defender. And that elderly man came up to him after the skate in the locker room and apologized for the hit, told him he was the dean of one of the programs at Adrian, and offered him any help he would like. And so Van Giesen took the opportunity to go to his office the next day, tell to him, hey, we have enough guys that didn't make the initial team for Adrian. Why don't we start a Division III team? From there on, Adrian initiated starting a Division III squad at the ACHA level, and the history writes itself. And another shot from the side area. Second try from Christopher Martin there. But honestly, a very phenomenal story as, you don't really hear about a whole lot of teams started from pickup hockey, Reagan. And a little nice snippet of history there in Bulldog hockey.
Yeah, and I know with Adrian, it's no surprise that they have a Division III team, even though it did come about pretty recently, this being their 11th season of hockey. But they've got, I believe, 7, 8 teams and clubs that use that ice surface at Arrington Ice Arena. Adrian, a hockey powerhouse in NCAA Division III, most recently winning the national tournament last season down in Lake Placid, New York. And they are a hockey school to their core. That shows with how much their teams or their fans show up at Arrington. Now look out, Adrian's got numbers.
3-on-1 developed for the Bulldogs. Pass in front, couldn't be handled there. Oh, what a chance for Maximus Norwood, who took a feed in front. 3-on-1 coming the other way for the Bulldogs, and they couldn't capitalize on that as Central turned the puck over their own end. And man, it's going to be a frustrated group on that bench as Tyler Koth is not happy about giving up that chance.
And Central Michigan's got to be careful here. They can't get complacent. This is a 3-goal lead for them. We've seen this before. They can't let things get out of control as we hit for the second intermission report coming up in just a little bit.
Oh, what a block in front by Braden Keel to lay out the body after the freshman Devin Bennett laid out for the one-timer clapper. Keeps this one at 3-0. You're right, Reagan. Central has conceded a 3-goal lead in 3 contests this year. 3 is an unlucky number for them. We say 2 coming against Ferris State a little bit earlier this year. And then most recently, Saginaw Valley in that third period meltdown that we so critically acclaimed, being the missing part of what was really a resurgence after they swept the University of Michigan Flint Wolverines. Find themselves dropping 6 of their last 8.
Yeah, and both those games against Saginaw Valley State, very frustrating. You looked like you could have gotten a point out of both of those. You were 15 seconds away from an overtime in game number 1 before Saginaw Valley State got the goal. McClellan on a rush down into the Central Michigan end, beating Lauren Jones. And then in game number 2, just a collapse. You were 90 seconds away from going to overtime in that one. So for Central Michigan, that's a, hey, look, we've lost 2 points in that game. Now, the referees are going to consult about something here. Not sure what it's going to be. Possibly face-off situation or the net coming off.
You know, Reagan, the last 5 contests, CMU has allowed at least 4 power plays in a hockey game. They allowed 8 against Saginaw Valley in that first game, and they went 2 for 6 on the night there. Then they allowed 6 against Michigan Flint, 5 in the first game, 7 in that overtime loss to Notre Dame. They take a lot of penalties, and credit to them, the penalty kill group has been pretty solid, sitting around the top 10 in the nation, but it has been a struggle with how many penalties they've given up.
And there could possibly be one here. I think that's what the referees were talking about. There was an Adrian player that went down in the corner with a hit. The linesman maybe went to talk to the referees. Hey, maybe I think I saw something. What you guys see? Because the linesman can do that. While they can't traditionally call penalties during play, if they see something major enough, they can talk to the referees. And that might have been what that discussion was about. Now look out, Adrian in a 2-1-2.
Ryan Pino takes a shot from the top of the right circle. Rebound in front. Elijah Jones couldn't handle it, trying to stuff it home was Zach Major and just couldn't find it short side. Keeps this one at 3-0. What a dangerous chance for the captain. Brian Pino has been all over the ice in this second period, Reagan. He's had 3 great looks on the net, most notably happening with Evan Bliss twice in the power play, but they couldn't capitalize and allow CMU the other way to have a chance. Charlie Hayes takes it from the blue line. Loose in front. No one can stuff it home. Hayden Flynn was trying to work it, and now here comes Pino with speed. Jumps one defender, gets inside positioning. No one help him out as Adrian was changing players on the ice. It allows Brendan Clements to negate his pass and get it up to Hayden Flynn, who sent it to the center ice area for Brent Rychuk. Now Adrian resets in their own end, taking it up. Brian Tanner sends it up the wing there for Evan Bliss. Bliss will work with it. The top group still out here for Adrian, and they have to get their motor going, Reagan. You talked about shortened lines for Adrian. They've kind of been working that 1-2 line game. As look out, stretch pass. Charlie Hayes defended that one well off of Bliss, but it has been Adrian's top group that's generated most of the offensive chances.
Indeed, and they've got most of their top scorers on this line. They got Pino as well as Bliss, but Pino's off the ice right now. Just Evan Bliss headmanning this group.
Long stretch pass intended for Austin Brining, the senior from Northville. That one got all the way to Elijah Jones. Oh, he had to dive down in the play to negate that stuff on the wrap. Chance, and here's Andrew Siraki streaking in. One-on-one, backhander, save there by Heiser with the glove. Oh, he got a nice feed from Andrew Porzondik.
And that's a tough play for Andrew Siraki. He's trying to get in, but he's got a man coming back for the Bulldogs. That's Brian Tanner coming back on him, and he's also got to work that puck on his backhand. That's a tough shot. He did a good job to even get that shot off, and he'll get Central Michigan to draw on the offensive end here.
Digging in for the Bulldogs is Zach Major. Won that initial draw, got it back to the trapezoid. It was turned over. Porzonic in front, one touch for Christopher Martin, saved there by Heiser. Now Porzonic gets it back. Disturbs one man up. He's defended by Thomas Anderson, the freshman. Gets it over the wing there. Sent on net there by Austin Ritter. Blocked in front and streaked wide. Now, this one comes to the corner. Porzonic ties up with it. Gets help with his man, Nathan Bottles. Still trying to get this puck free. Bottles does, finally. Looks for a feed in front. Gets it across. No one there. Andrew Siraki picks it back to the point. Austin Ritter back to Siraki. Steps one man. Tries to send one down low for Porzonic. Missed it. Allows the Bulldogs to regain possession. They'll flip this one all the way out to center. Gloved down by Austin Ritter, but they still got a forward streaking in there was Zach Major. Couldn't take it.
Ritter. Good play by Austin Ritter to come back along with Christopher Martin, and now Christopher Martin intercepts that puck.
Here's Martin the other way. A tired Ryan Pino tries to get back. He'll streak it wide, and a wide glove save by Heiser, who didn't need to save that, but elects to stake the whistle. 50 seconds to go in the second period of play. 3-0 game. Devin Serra alongside Reagan Cleves and Derek Steele on the camera. In a tilt that's really been a more even second period. I'd say Adrian playing a lot better, especially they've had a couple of good tries in transition joining the rush.
Exactly, and it looked, especially toward the tail end of that second period, or first period, pardon, it looked like Adrian was getting their feet back under him. They were getting a little bit more opportunities, especially with that Bliss Pino group.
Nice defensive play there by Maximus Norwood to sit down and negate Connor Morgan's centering feed. Braden Keeled as Camara looked like he got taken down to the ice. Nearly no call.
Good
Julian Johnson.
That was a good defensive hip check there by Camara. Bliss wanted a penalty, but isn't going to get one on a clean hockey play.
CMU works up the wing. Jay Nadeau down low to Morgan. Turn the puck over. Adrian back the other way. Still inside the Bulldog zone. Connor Morgan steps into his man near side on that was, I believe, number 22. Antonio breaks Blake. And now the other way come the Bulldogs. Here's Austin Brining tied up there with Braden Keeled. Keeled checks his man. Send it in front. Nice defensive play by Sam Camara to negate the centering pass. That was intended for Antonio Briggs Blake, and another big collision that ends the period. So CMU fends off the Bulldogs' attack the last 5.5 minutes. Ryan Pino and Evan Bliss had a couple of good looks, but could not capitalize on their only power play of the night. So stay tuned with us. Reagan Cleese will have the second intermission report presented by SeaMitchIceHockey.com as CMU finds themselves in a 3-0 tilt once again entering the third period. Stay with us. You're watching Central Michigan Hockey here on CCHN.
And we're back here inside the broadcast booth for intermission number 2. Reagan Cleaves here at Martin Ice Arena. Central Michigan with a 3-0 lead at the end of 2 periods of play. We've heard that before. We're not going to talk about it, though. Right now, all that matters is Central Michigan has played a very good hockey game. They capitalized on a goaltending mistake by Brandon Iser in the offensive end on a power play for Adrian. Central Michigan on the penalty kill, getting a shorthanded goal for the 3rd time this season. Andrew Porzondik with his 2nd shorthanded goal in the wraparound, capitalizing on that goaltending mistake. Central Michigan has a 3-0 lead, building off of an Andrew Siraki goal as well as a Julian Johnson goal in that opening period. They have a 3-0 lead here at the end of 40 minutes. Central Michigan doing a very good job at both ends of the ice, generating chances. They're 1 for 3 on the power play here tonight. They've had 3 opportunities, capitalized in the opening one. Couldn't do anything with the second 2, though they did get some pressure in on the Bulldogs and Brandon Heiser. On the defensive side of things for Central Michigan, they've been hemmed in a little bit more in the second period than they were in the opening frame, but they've still been able to weather the storm from Adrian, and they look to do that here as we enter period number 3. Taking a look at the out-of-town scoreboard, the Grand Rapids Griffins out on the West Coast strip out in San Diego currently lead 3-1 over the goals at the end of the first period of play. You can watch that game on AHL TV, or you can listen to it live on Wood Radio 1300 1069 FM in Grand Rapids. You can also find that on iHeartRadio, same station. The Saginaw Spirit game tonight against the Erie Honors was postponed due to weather concerns and the fact that Erie couldn't make the trip from Pennsylvania to Saginaw. The Detroit Red Wings beat San Jose last night 7-4. And the rest of the NHL, taking a look, Kings and Canucks get underway at 10 p.m., or rather they are underway, probably at the end of 1. We don't have a score update for you on that. Zamboni's off the ice. Quick intermission report. We'll be right back with period number 3. Devin Serra has the call right after this here on CCHN. 3-0 the lead after 2 for Central Michigan. Both teams making their way back onto the ice here at Martin Ice Arena. Reagan Cleaves back inside the broadcast booth, joined shortly by Devin Serra as he makes his way back from the warm lobby of Martin Ice. We're about the only place you can get some warmth.
Jeez, my toes are frozen already, man.
I know.
Wow, first one of the year. You'd think I'd be used to this by now.
As cold as Martin Arena gets during the summer, it's even colder because it has absolutely no insulation, and it's absolutely freezing outside
here.
here.
And the door's wide open too.
Well, I mean, they got to get the Zamboni out there to get the snow down, but when it's 22 degrees outside here in Mount Pleasant, it's not going to get much warmer inside Martin Ice Arena.
And, you know, it's been a cold week here in Mount Pleasant, Reagan.
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday night, CMU's football team took on Western, and we all know the Snowball. There was a life-size snowman created in the grandstands. Look it up on ESPN, folks. It was
exactly.
a beauty to see shown out, and it was, boy, a great student crowd that came out to that game. Shout out to the CMU faithful on that one.
Exactly, and as member of the marching band, that was probably the most fun I've had at a football game all year. Yeah, we lost to Western, and it really not a good feeling when you lose to the Broncos, but it was such a fun game. We marched pregame in the snow. You couldn't see where you were going whatsoever.
You know what that reminded me of was back in a couple years ago, the Lions played the Eagles in a Snow Bowl game. Calvin Johnson had this catch. I remember because he had this catch where he caught it face first. He was showing the play, and he got a face full of snow right as he went down into the turf. So that's how it looked from a snowy Kelly Shorts at Kramer Duramity Field. I actually said that right for once. As CMU lost the Broncos 12-10.
I don't think you could have more hyphens and slashes in a name.
Hey, they got to get that ad revenue somewhere, don't they, right?
It's not even ad revenue.
I know it's not. Oh, no. Referring to the legendary CMU football head coaches, Kramer and Duramity, who actually have statues outside of CMU as well. But back inside Martin Ice Arena, we get back to the action on the ice. CMU finds themselves up 3-0. After they opened the scoring in the first two periods, first 10 minutes of the game, Julian Johnson and then Andrew Srock in the power play, and then shorthanded was Andrew Porzanik, his second weekend in a row scoring shorthanded. So back into work, go the Chips, the first minute of this game.
Great speed there by Brandon Clements to get from the right point in to pick up that loose puck on the near side. Adrian took kind of a lackadaisical path to it, but the freshman for CMU was able to get to the puck, and it leads to an offensive zone time for CMU. Oh, Porzanik.
Porzanik sent a shot wide, tried to stuff it short side. Good play by Brandon Clements at the blue line to keep it in. Porzanik centering feed in front for Morgan. Couldn't handle the one touch as he might have been blocked in front. Now goes back again to Clements. They'll cycle with it. Morgan had it, lost it. Had to step aside Ryan Pino, the captain. Good work defensively by him. Still working with it, tagging up is Morgan. Gets time and space and rips one just high. Glove side, he was trying to pick the top corner.
And he was all alone in the last circle. Adrian collapsed to the far side, trying to protect against the pass. They lost sight of the guy who really mattered, the man of the puck.
CMU in their own zone takes it back. Christopher Martin missed on a one-touch pass intended for Morgan. It's possessed again by Adrian's number 22, Antonio Briggs-Blake, who's been on the ice for the majority of this hockey game along with that top line. As we've so aforementioned, Evan Bliss. Ryan Pennell went off for a change, so we wouldn't mention him. 17:50 to go. CMU up 3-0. Devin Serra and Reagan Cleaves alongside Derek Steele running the sticks in the 1-2 from Martin Ice Arena, the first of this two-game weekend series. Central will go on Sunday to take on the Bulldogs from Arrington Ice Arena. That game's slated for a 4 p.m. puck drop. You can catch the action right here on CCHN as Reagan Cleaves will have the play-by-play call. Myself on color. And we'll be back again to continue what is a rebound weekend for both of these squads after CMU dropped their weekend series to Saginaw. Adrian dropped theirs to Grand Valley State in large fashion. Still without a goal in this hockey game so far, but they've had a couple of good looks. Working down low is Henry Darnell, the freshman for Adrian from Dearborn, or rather Northville, Michigan, trying to work with it against Connor Morgan. Morgan, the freshman, has been out there for the majority of this first 3 minutes or so. Allows CMU to change.
That's a great opportunity for Evan Bliss. Work the Central Michigan end. He ended up getting a nice backhand look in the slot in front of Elijah Jones, but was unable to capitalize on it. Now here's Keelan Baker.
Kept the zone. Baker got a backhander feed down low to Tyler Martin. Baker got it back in front. Heiser had to make another save as he was defended by Will Smith, the senior from Northville, and got that one to his goaltender.
Good to see Martin out here on this third line for Central Michigan, getting out there. He's had a good amount of time. It looks like he was on for Hayden Flynn, who was late coming out of the dressing room here with 3:24 gone in this third period. It looks like Tyler Martin, good to see him get some ice time. Ooh, and a face-off win for CMU, but it goes all the way back to their own end.
The junior from Shelby Township, Michigan, has 1 assist this year. It was in game number 1 against Lake Superior State. He was a transfer from Oakland University's Division I team. He opted out of playing last year and has played this year solid on the 4th line. Last played for Lakeland High School, solid Division II high school program. Now, Martin gets some offensive zone time, tried to work it past the defender, got it back up top where Braden Keob and Kamara tag up with it. Kamara sent one to net, blocked in front there by Adrian's Thomas Anderson. The defensive freshman from Northville works it out. A couple of Northville natives on this hockey team, Henry Darnell, along with Thomas Anderson, Austin Brining. Some chemistry there from a couple of Northville guys. Another notable player from Northville, Andrew Siraki, the freshman, who already had a goal tonight, Reagan, his fourth goal in 2 weekends. The freshman elected to play on that top line this week with Andrew Porzondik and Nathan Bottles, and has played pretty phenomenal.
Good puck movement here by the Chippewas in the offensive end with Porzondik coming in to pick up that face-off win.
Bottles down low, wraps around chance. Oh, what a stop. No, they say it's in now. Nathan Bottles on the wraparound try. I thought it was in initially. Heiser got there with the left pad, but it wasn't enough to keep Bottles out of the net. And he gets his team up by 4 in this hockey game with 15:45 to play.
Nathan Bottles snuck it underneath the pad of Heiser, and a good wraparound there. He realized that Heiser was cheating to the post. He's like, why not take it myself? I don't have anybody on the back door. Work to the outside, and at 4:15 of this third period, Central Michigan has their 4th of the night.
It's Bottles' 9th goal of the season. The sophomore from Williamston, Michigan, sits 3rd on the team in total points this year at now 14, just over a point per game average. And right now, CMU going back to the attack. Andrew Siraki tried to feed it in front that time for Porzondik. Couldn't handle it. Got it back up to Brandon Clements. Clements down low. Bottles again looking to be dangerous. Gets it short side there, stuffing it home. Oh, Heiser got there after Bottles and Porzondik tried to tag up on the play. And that gains the whistle after he fell out on the play. Heiser having a lot of work the last 30 seconds.
Indeed, but what a move at the line by Brandon Clements. He had an Adrian guy coming up on him to block the shot. He just worked him and faked to the inside and came back in, pulled the puck to the outside, and was able to get a shot off. And a good cycle there for CMU in the offensive end.
Reagan, this is now the 4th time in the last 5 contests where CMU has matched 4 goals in a hockey game. The last time they did that was the Saginaw Valley State loss in game number 1. That one was a 5-6 tally. As we got a penalty coming up here for a collision with Jay Nadeau. And
an elbow going to come against Adrian
Zach Bagosi going back to the box again. The junior went to the box earlier tonight for the first penalty of the game. That happened at 6:40 of this contest. It allowed CMU to score their first power play goal of the night from Andrew Siraki. And so Bagosi, the guilty party, again to the box with 15:03 to play. In this hockey game, Reagan has mentioned for the elbow, and not something this Adrian team needed. They needed something to get back in this game. That's a momentum killer for sure.
They've held Central Michigan to 1 power play goal on 3 attempts thus far. Central Michigan trying to, that's a bad play at the blue line, look out.
Working in to defend it well there. Hounded on the play by Evan Bliss.
Oh my,
he gets taken down, and that's going to call the whistle on Connor Morgan.
That is suspect. The dude.
He was working inside positioning on Bliss. He was trying to reach his stick around Morgan's left skate to get possession of that puck, and they call Morgan to the box. So that negates the short 15 seconds of power play time Central had. They'll go to the box, and it'll be 4-on-4 for the next 1:44 for Connor Morgan's penalty. After Bogozzi took an elbow to Jay Nadeau, and Reagan suspected that call.
It looked like Connor Morgan just put on the brakes and Evan Bliss fell, but they called it a penalty. I don't agree with it, but you're going to get those calls sometimes, and at least they've gone both ways in this game.
Adrian's Central Michigan's second penalty of the night. It'll give prematurely, barring no more coincidental penalties coming, we'll give them their second power play of the night for about 15 seconds to work with. But right now in the 4-on-4, Central works with them open ice. Here's Austin Ritter moving up the wing with it. Drop pass was played off the defensive well there by Somerville, and now allows him to come back the other way. Turning wide with it. Centering feed in front. Here's Somerville with a shot off the right iron. How did that one stay out? Somerville point blank from the top of the left circle. This one is still at a 4-4 or 4-0 game.
Dominic Somerville had a goal in the last game between these two teams back in the first round of the MCHC playoffs, looking for his second in 2 games against this Central Michigan team, but he rang the dinner bell off the top right corner of the net. And how did that not go in, Devin? The rules of hockey and physics. 6x4 is the net, and he didn't put it in.
Well, Mr. Jones will give the tip of the cap to his own post for that one. Keeping this one in a 4-0 contest. Does not allow the 4-on-4 goal. Now, here's working wide, Sam Camara, the freshman from St. Mary's High School. Still leaves with it, defended by 2 Bulldogs. Across the way from Braden Keel. Couldn't handle the pass off the boards. That one came back out to center, where it's streaked in here by number 14, Zach Major. Working well on the pressure. Bottles regains possession of the puck. 12 seconds to go in the 4-on-4. Adrian will have 5-on-4 for about 14 seconds to work with. But not if Bottles can step defenders. Working wide with it, defended by Major. Taken off the play by Thomas Anderson. He'll drop pass there for Maximus Norwood, who will circle wide back with it. Norwood turns his own end at the half wall, defended by Bottles. 7 seconds left, and Adrian's second power play of the night. As Connor Morgan gets ready to come out of the box, Porzonik stepped into Norwood right there as we get a whistle for Elijah Jones gloving this puck down. So 12:44 to go in this hockey game. Central Michigan 1 for 4 on the night on the power play. Adrian 0 for 2. And we talked about the special teams woes for this Adrian Bulldog team who came into tonight at about 55.6% on the penalty kill. Those are not good numbers for not only ACHA standards, but any penalty kill unit. CMU, on the other hand, has been one of the better penalty kill teams in the ACHA, sitting at about an 84% mark. They've only allowed, to this point of the season, 11 power play goals. Now, Brandon Clements works into Julian Johnson, gained the blue line. Send it across for Jay Nadeau, got stepped into hard by his man. It's still loose in the slot area. Connor Morgan picks it up. He'll try to leave it there for Charlie Hayes, who will chip this one back into the circle. Johnson leaves this puck there for Antonio Briggs to clear it out. It'll be Clements going back to get it with Hayes. The 2 defensemen defended well there by the assistant captain, Evan Bliss. Now Johnson, long stretch pass, gained by Jay Nadeau. It allows Connor Morgan to gain the zone. They step into the end boards with Bogozzi. He'll work with it. Puck's free to Nadeau, behind the net. Gets it over to Clements at the point. Clements with a shot on net. That one into the glove of Heiser, and the whistle.
Fans, this weekend is full of CMU hockey every day this weekend. We've got some Chippewa hockey for you here on CCHN. The men wrap up their series with these same Bulldogs on Sunday at 4, and the women play at Loyola of Chicago tomorrow and Saturday. All games and their times can be found right here on CCHN, your home for Chippewa hockey.
Keelan Baker to dig in for the draw. Hayden Flynn to take it there. And as I mentioned, Reagan, the women's team back in some action after taking the week off from that Adrian series where they split with the women's Bulldogs, who bizarrely handed the women's team their first loss of the season, sitting at 7-1, their best start in program history. Derek Steele and Matt Ryder will have the call, and then myself and Reagan Cleese will be from Arrington on 4 p.m. puck drop schedule time from Arrington Ice Arena. Excited to have you on the call for that one, Reagan.
It should be fun. Always a joy to call from an NCAA D3 rink.
And not only one from an NCAA rink, but the reigning national champions in NCAA Division III. The beautiful Arrington in Adrian College, Michigan. Now, Austin Ritter clips this one quickly out of his zone. 11:20 to play. This one will go back for the icing taken by Dominic Somerville.
And you mentioned how beautiful Arrington is. Think about where they won the national championship last year. And Lake Placid, the same ice surface that the men's 1980 Olympic team for the U.S. beat the Russians and eventually got the gold medal in that Miracle on Ice year. It's a pretty historic venue, and I love that the NCAA D3 got the chance to host the national championship there.
Point blank shot negated from Evan Bliss by Elijah Jones. Good save in the hockey game. Hayden Flynn with a good battle at the trapezoid there with Thomas Anderson. Anderson won that one, who got it up to Bliss. Got it up the wing there. Fan pass attempt from Austin Brining, who still tries to work it into the zone. Adrian gets some zone time. Shout out Elijah Jones. He saved that one from the left circle attempt. Now in the corner. Working with it is Brining. Got it across there. Shot on net from Briggs. That one blocked in front. A second try turns wide as Norwood came back to play the puck. Now here's Evan Bliss, the second leading scorer for this Adrian team. Up the wing, sharp angle shot attempt, and Elijah Jones had to get across with the right pad.
That one skittered right through the crease. Lucky for Jones, it didn't hit anybody.
Still loose. Good cycle here for the Bulldogs, able to get a fresh man out. They send this one to the trapezoid where it's possessed by Braden Keelb. Sends it up the boards for Porzanik and allows CMU to get it out. Here's Siraki moving up with it. Steps one defender. Has Nathan Bottles with him. Siraki to the net. That one might have been saved by Heiser. Oh, that one they were looking to go wide.
A great move at the blue line there for Andrew Siraki. Made a man miss, but couldn't finish the deal. And Adrian still keeps this a 4-goal game. Under 10 to play in this hockey game.
Here come the Bulldogs on the rush. Devin Bennett up the wing. He's got Trevor Benoit with him. Trevor Benoit. Fun fact on him, just started playing hockey again this year. He hadn't played since high school. As there's a step into there by Connor Morgan on Zach Bogozzi, the freshman, making himself physically known. That one in front there, scooped up by Elijah Jones. And we were talking about Benoit. He hadn't played since the high school days, working at the forward position with 1 goal on the season through 8 games played. And pretty fun fact for an Adrian Division III team that's had a lot of turnover this year with a lot of new players.
Exactly. One of their biggest pieces missing is their netminder, Dylan Zelko, who played phenomenally in the home game here on last year in the second game of that series. He's what won the game for Adrian. And with a couple of key saves, he is out, the Canadian from Windsor, Ontario.
Shot attempt from the right circle there. Off the blocker, right pad. That was Ryan Pino working in there. 9 goals on the year. He still possessed the puck behind the net. Up to the point there for Zach Bogozzi. Bogozzi to the net, and that one went off the right pad and streaked out to the slot area. Now to the blue line, to the red line. Adrian with some good offensive chances inside the CMU zone.
Yeah, that's a great play there by Elijah Jones to see that puck through traffic.
Nice one-touch pass to Siraki. Or rather, Julian Johnson from Connor Morgan has a goal earlier tonight. Gets stepped into by Bogozzi, and he'll fall down in the play. A high stick called from Connor Morgan. Has to negate the pass and go back to the bench to get fresh bodies on the ice and allow Adrian to send it out to their own zone. Here's Bogozzi working it out to the wing for Tanner. Long stretch blast to gain the blue line was Evan Bliss. Gained a blast from the half wall. That one turned over by Ben Rychuk with speed. Showing the play was Hayden Flynn. He'll work to it behind the net. Met up there with Evan Thomas. They'll fight for it. And it goes free to CMU. Centering feed for Rychuk, intended for Baker, negated. And the Bulldogs come back the other way now. Dumped in quickly to the blue line by Austin Brining. He'll go off for a change. 7:50 to go in the third period. Devin Serra alongside Reagan Cleaves for the first of this 2-game weekend series. Now here's Adrian possessing it. Big hit. Ben Rychuk absolutely laid out Henry Darnell behind the net. He's slow to get up.
nets off its moorings. Ben Reichuk lucky that he doesn't get an interference penalty.
And rather, that was Will Smith, the junior from Basking Ridge, New Jersey, getting up slowly on the play. And so this one will cause the whistle for the netting coming off its moorings. And 7:37, we get the face-off.
If you're looking for game reports, stats, schedules, and more, take a trip to cmishizaki.com. There you can find those and much more, including player information, recruiting information, apparel, and more. That's cmishhockey.com. Now look out.
Turnover at the blue line from Camara. Here's the Bulldogs working in. Cross-ice pass. What a save! Elijah Jones with the glove stops Adrian's beautiful rush chance from Henry Darnell and Devin Manette to keep this one 4-0.
What a flash of the leather there by Elijah Jones, sticking out the left glove and robbing the man in the back door. Great rush opportunity there for Adrian, but Elijah Jones stands tall with 7:26 to go.
Short side, trying to stuff it home was Bennett, and Elijah scooped that one up. You know, the freshman only has 2 wins to his name for the season, and we've really seen him and Lauren Jones share some starting jobs this year, Reagan. Notably, they've kind of split time against Notre Dame, University of Michigan, Flint, Saginaw, and he has played pretty well for a young goaltender.
Indeed he has, and it's good to see him get some confidence back in this game after giving up 4 goals in the third period against Saginaw Valley State. We saw him visibly frustrated in net after giving up that goal with 90 seconds left, and it's good to see him get some confidence back here in this one.
Adrian to their own zone takes it back. Stuffed home there by Bottles, who worked it with it, had his stick slashed, but it was already called the whistle there. Working with it was Dominic Somerville for the stop. So 7:03, and Reagan taking a look at the Chippewas' kind of upcoming schedule past Adrian. This is the penultimate game of this first semester. CMU will play their final game on November 20th against Adrian, and then for an entire month until December 10th, they will take on Grand Valley State. That one, both games at home for Martin Ice Arena, and afterwards they'll go on for the Miami, Ohio Showcase against Missouri State, IUP, and Nebraska. So a pretty stout schedule coming up for the Chippewas, and a game like this and a series like this where they got to bounce back, it's a pretty important time for them.
Yeah, and you mentioned going into a tough part of their schedule. They play Adrian and Grand Valley State in this next series, followed by Nebraska, Missouri State, and Indiana Penn. And then they play Lawrence Tech, a team that absolutely dominates in the MCHC East year to year, and that'll be a tough middle schedule for Central Michigan.
Lawrence Tech in a tilt tonight with Saginaw Valley. We'll hopefully have that score update you ahead of the postgame show presented by cmhicehockey.com. 6:15 to go. Central Michigan up 4-0 over the Bulldogs. They had a good look, the Bulldogs did, the last 9 minutes or so, and a point-blank shot from the left circle off the right corner. Stayed out of the net and keeps this one 4-0. Charlie Hay sends a puck on net, blocked in front there, taken over by Adrian Zach Bogozzi. He'll turn it up the wing, dumps the puck in. It's collected by Brandon Clements at the corner. He's hounded there by 2 Bulldog defenders, and Julian Johnson coming in to help. Clements trying to fight off his man, takes him down to the ice now, and they'll still tie up with it, trying to jam this puck free with the stick. Johnson gets it free now. He'll send it up the wing for Jay Nadeau. Nadeau will send this one out to the blue line, gains the zone to the red line. Now it's dumped in by Morgan to go off for a change, frustrated on that play.
Morgan was dead tired, but he didn't get a ton on that pass. Now a miscommunication just inside the Chippewa line.
Johnson was going off as Hayden Flynn was coming on. It allows them to dump it all the way the length of the ice. Dominic Somerville takes it over to the half wall. Touch pass there for Austin Browning. He'll work it up. Good pressure by the Bulldogs. Antonio brings Blake in. Here comes Evan Bliss now up the wing. Sent to the outside. Good play there by Christopher Martin defensively. Centering feed negated by Hayden Flynn. Back out to the red line. The Bulldogs gain the blue line again. Dumped in, Austin Ritter. A tired Adrian defender goes off. Austin Brining replaced there by assistant captain, number 8, Matthew Barucci. Now, Barucci comes into it. Mishandled the puck. It was left there for Rychuk, for Ritter now. Sent it up the wing there. Christopher Martin, one touch for Baker missed. And it goes all the way back down the other end of the ice for the whistle and the icing.
4:37 to go in period 3. Fans, stay with us for the post-game show. At the commencement of this game, Central Michigan up 4-0 here with 4:37 to go, trying to cling on for another for another series opening win for them, which would be the second in 3 series.
CMU got the scoring started. First 2 goals of the hockey game scored in the first period from Julian Johnson. And then Andrus had a power play goal. Connor Morgan and Jane Adu, both 2 assists on the night. Short angle shot from Keelan Baker missed wide. Centering feed intended from Austin Ritter. Went off a body. And then the second period, CMU continued the scoring. A short side attempted here by the Bulldogs and saved by Elijah Jones. And look out, we got more. Ben Rychuk tying up in the corner. Trevor Benoit comes in to help over there. A flurry of players getting together here post-whistle. And this one could cause some flurry.
And Rychuk being guided to the bench here.
Kind of deserved there, Rychuk.
Oh, never mind, he's going to take a trip to the sin bin.
Yep, Rychuk was working into the corner. I didn't see what player it was on the Bulldogs side. Shoved him into the corner, and that's going to cause a penalty. So uncanny. It allows Adrians their 3rd power play opportunity of the night. They are 0 for 2 so far. Andrew Porzadnik scored the 3rd goal for CMU in the second, the only one of that period, and it was short-handed after the puck was kind of mishandled by the goaltender, Brendan Heiser. Took it on Karam and came up to Porzadnik's stick, who put it home, and then finally Nathan Bottles in this 3rd period at 4:25 to finish us up. And 4-0 right now. CMU trying to hold on to the lead the last 4:14, but a good power play chance coming up for this Adrian squad that has struggled to score the last 4 weeks, only scoring 4 times, and they've been outshot, scored, what is it, Reagan?
37 to 4.
37, my goodness. So
Adrian scoreless on 3 power play opportunities tonight, albeit one of them really brief.
From the slot, Ryan Pinto sent a puck wide, trying to go glove side. That one crept off the inboard, still possessed by the Bulldogs. Somerville got it over the wing there, shot on net, off the inboard wide. Tended there for Evan Bliss, who possessed it. Defended well there off the puck by Nathan Bottles, and here come the chips the other way. He's got Porzadnik moving in, flips this puck way deep to the far corner. It allows CMU to play up high to the blue line. It'll allow the Bulldogs to regain possession. 3:42 to go in the 3rd period. Devin Serra, Reagan Cleaves for the first game of this 2-game series between Central Michigan and Adrian, 2 interconference MCHC foes.
Central Michigan lucky that Briggs Blake didn't score on that shot from the high slot. Jones didn't see it until it was about 10 feet behind him off the boards.
Briggs Blake takes a drop pass from Evan Bliss, blocked in front on the shot attempt. Ryan Pinto came out to help at the far half wall. Evan Bliss works with it to the corner, defended well there by Brandon Clements. Left it there, taken back over by the Bulldogs, number 19, Trevor Benoit. Now, left it there for Bliss. Good cycle by the Bulldogs. Up top there, a shot on net. Blocked wide over the left corner. Now to the trapezoid, playing with it. Whacks away at the side. Clements takes a whack. Here we go. Bliss and Clements, and Bliss falls down. Clements, after he was slashed by Bliss, took a swing at Evan, and he went down to the ice, and that one's going to get a whistle 9 times out of 10. The freshman, Brandon Clements, losing his cool for a moment, and he'll go to the box.
And are they sending both of them here? Clements is yelling that the dude slashed him twice, and are the referees going to send him?
It was Evan Bliss working behind the net. Both of the players were frustrated, getting physically intertwined, and then it looked like Bliss might have taken a slash. Clements wasn't happy. He took a swing and then gets to the box in the sin bin for it. So 2:52 to go in this hockey game. It looks like Bliss now will enter the box, which will prematurely, upon suspicion, put us at 4-on-4, or rather 4-on-3, after Ben Rychuk went to the box for his post-whistle scrum in the corner. So we'll await the call on this one, but it will be 4-on-3. 2:52 to go in this hockey game. CMU up 4-0. The most recent goal scored by Nathan Bottles at even strength. Adrian was on their 3rd power play opportunity of the night. They had not scored before that. Tonight, CMU has been 1 for 3 on the night. Or rather, what are we at, Reagan? 1 for 4?
Yeah, Central Michigan 1 for 4 on the afternoon, but Adrian takes a timeout. We'll take one as well. 2:52 left in regulation. Central Michigan up 4-0 here on the CMU Club Hockey Network.
inside Martin Ice Arena ahead of this presumed 5-on-3 coming up to the Bulldogs after Brandon Clements went to the box. And Reagan, a little bit of confusion as Bliss sits in the bin for getting involved in that scrum, but nonetheless, no penalty coming up for the Bulldogs.
My guess is that both Clements and Bliss were assessed minor penalties, but Clements getting the extra 2 here. That'll put Central Michigan on a 5-on-3.
Clements did take an extra swing at Bliss after the play, and Bliss fell down on it, so it might have been presumptive for that. Nonetheless, the Bulldogs get an excellent chance here to score with 2:40 left to go in the game. One-timer from the far side. That one into the netting off of Antonio Briggs' break shot.
What? It's staying in the zone? The dude rocketed it out of the surface and somehow off of an Adrian player, it's staying in the zone.
Oh, little odd officiating in the last 40 minutes. Watching that call, you're playing.
I think actually
that might have been a dang it.
No, the dang it is the shorthanded goal for Central Michigan when Heiser played the puck and gave it away.
Of course.
But I think actually, now that I think about it, I think the rule is that if it goes off of anything, it's a face-off in the zone.
Through center here, a sharp angle shot from the top of the right circle by Henry Darnell, saved by Elijah Jones. And the freshman has come up big as that 5-on-3 power play ends for Adrian. Bajdarajchuk out of the box. Clements will stay with 1:13 left to go in that. 2:03 in the hockey game. Up the wing, here's Darnell, the freshman from Northville. Drop pass there, intended for Briggs Blake. Got it up the wing. They stay to the right side. CMU clogging up the middle, trying to collapse. Now back to the top of the dots there. Somerville a shot on net. Right pad save. Kept the zone, however. Somerville now waits, shoots it on net. Blocker save by Elijah Jones. It's cleared out of the zone by Julian Johnson. And look out, Nathan Bottles with speed on a one-on-one. Right circle, shot, saved by Heiser. No rebound coming. And that one causes the whistle as Bottles was working in on transition after the block.
Great opportunity there for Central Michigan. They've been good shorthanded here tonight with the forecheck, and Nathan Bottles, the benefactor of a fortuitous bounce just inside the blue line, was able to work up, get the puck free at neutral ice and work down the right side, able to get a shot off and a good one on Heiser, but he makes the save. 90 seconds to go in this one. 39 seconds to go in the Clements penalty.
Bottles previously scored his 9th of the season at 4:25 of this third period. And a good wraparound goal, and that one trying to go bar down on the right circle. And Heiser saw it the whole way for the stop. So Jay Nadeau to dig in for the draw against Zach Major. 39 seconds left in Adrian's power play. Clements sits posted, waiting to come out of the box. The referees will signal
not
good
be
for
able
that.
to come out of the box. Andrew Miller was just put in as the referees realized that they should have had 2 players in the box for Central Michigan after. That's what I think it is. I think it was a 2-minute, I think it was a coincidental minor against Clements as well as Bliss. And then you add into the fact that Clements received the extra minor, and that's why Miller was in the box, and he's going to be the one to come out in 25 seconds.
Nonetheless, Keelan Baker sends this one the length of the ice. Adrian regains their own zone. Zach Bagazi taking it. The junior up the wing there, left it there for Major. Hounded off the puck by Nadeau. That one flipped up into the glove of the goaltender,
Nice glove
Luke
save.
Niklos. On the bench, the sophomore from Trenton with a nice glove save, his first of the night.
And you wonder why the goaltenders on the bench wear the gloves. It's to save, it's to protect their teammates.
Right.
If a puck comes
Look
flying
at
their
Lauren
way.
Jones. He's wearing his full gear too, but I don't know if he's much help sitting in the corner like that. Probably, maybe Joe Drucker in case a wicked wrister goes through the glass. But
Well, I doubt it's going to go through the glass of the scoring booth across the way.
Never say never, Reagan. Never say never.
I said I doubt. I didn't say never.
Doubtable, not certain. Face-off drawn to the left circle. Won by the Bulldogs, but not able to keep the zone after it was cleared out by Baker. 1 minute to go in this hockey game, and Adrian's power play will end. They cannot capitalize once again on their power play. Chance CMU has kept them to the outside, but they regain the offensive zone time. 45 to play in this hockey game. Adrian on the attack for the left circle. Shot on net by Elijah Jones. Save. The rebound comes out to the end boards and is cleared out, scooped away by Keelan Baker. Now, here's a wing stretch pass from Andrew Miller over to Connor Morgan. Two freshman wingers working up the wing there. Now, here's Ryan Pinto the other way. The leading scorer and a save by Elijah Jones, flashing the letter with 25 seconds to play.
What a save by Elijah Jones from the sharp angle, robbing Pinto with the flash of the leather. 25 seconds to go in period 3.
CMU opened the scoring with 2 in the first from Johnson and Siraki. They had a power play goal in this hockey game, then Porzana scored shorthanded. Most recently, it was Nathan Bottles. And from there on, CMU just continued to play poised defensively. Elijah Jones had a couple of big saves that kept them up in the hockey game. Didn't allow the Bulldogs to gain any momentum, but they played well. The last part of that first half of the third period is now Julian Johnson with a sharp angle. Trying to send one in front. It's cleared out of the zone, and CMU comes back on home ice after getting swept last weekend to complete the shutout. Elijah Jones, the freshman, gets his second shutout of the season and gets the win for his CMU team, who takes down the Bulldogs in this one 4-0 from Martin Ice Arena. Stay tuned with us. The postgame show presented by CMHIceHockey.com. Coming up next to recap this one and get you looking ahead for Sunday afternoon. Stay with us. You've watched Central Michigan Hockey here on CCHN. Welcome back to a chilly Martin Ice Arena where Central Michigan holds off the Adrian Bulldogs 4-0 the final, and Elijah Jones, the freshman, gets his second shutout of the season, his first since October 1st against Lake Superior State. Elijah, what a performance from you tonight. You had a lot of dangerous chances in that second and third period, especially when that top group for Adrian was going. Tell us kind of what you were feeling through that game, and where was the confidence?
Well, I just trusted my team to have my back, and I just played my game, and that's really it. I don't know. We just had a good night. I feel like we got the bounces, and yeah.
You had one really lucky chance in that second period when that shot rang off the left corner of the iron.
Yeah.
You felt pretty sturdy about it, and you tell us about how at Saginaw you kind of had a frustrating third period with a lot of those goals going in late. We saw you obviously visibly upset before going off the ice. How much of a confidence builder and how much reassurance is it to come back on home ice and win like this?
It's definitely a big one because we're going to take this and then carry it on to our next game versus Adrian on Sunday. So, yeah.
Yeah, excited to see you play so well and looking forward to Sunday afternoon. You know, thinking about, hey, maybe you get this first start in this game. We've seen you split time with Lauren Jones. How much of a good feeling is it to know that you put the team who played pretty well defensively in front of you in an all-around good game?
It feels great. I mean, it's good to have like the whole team participating, giving equal effort. So
absolutely,
yeah.
And something that this team desperately needed after we mentioned getting swept last weekend. A great win for yourself, and thanks for catching up with us tonight. Go get warmed up in that locker room. I'm sure we'll see the post-game celebration soon here. That's Elijah Jones, the freshman from Port Huron, Michigan, with his third win of the season for Central Michigan. Stay with us, post-game show in a minute here with myself and Reagan Cleaves. Finally, the postgame show presented by CMHIceHockey.com. The final in this one, Central Michigan 4, Adrian College 0. After the CMU Chippewas came back from weekend sweep last weekend, they got the shutout tonight. We just talked to freshman goaltender Elijah Jones-Reagan, and what a performance, not only from him, but this entire squad who had to get everybody involved tonight with the injury to Isaac Gibbs and the short lines. They executed on all cylinders.
Yeah, exactly. Central Michigan did a phenomenal job here tonight. Not only did they compensate for the loss of Isaac Gibbs with 2 players getting 2 assists here tonight, along with the freshmen Siraki and Morgan getting in on the scoring, they distributed it well, and they played well in front of Elijah Jones, who gets his second collegiate shutout here tonight in a 4-0 win.
CMU gets their 3rd power play goal in 4 games. That group has been pretty stellar, and the penalty kill was once again tonight, not allowing a penalty or power play goal tonight for the Bulldogs, who, like we said, had a couple of good looks, especially when Evan Bliss and Ryan Pino were connecting. They just couldn't round it home to ultimately finish the dagger, but it's a win for CMU nonetheless, and one, like we mentioned, they desperately needed coming off that sweep last week. And looking at our players to watch tonight, Andrew Porzonik scored his 2nd shorthanded goal in a row for a weekend. An impressive tout for the senior, who now 13 goals on the year, has established himself as the forefront scorer for this team. And going forward, one that all teams are going to have their eye on.
Exactly, and one who is in the right place at the right time. That was a misplay behind the net by the Adrian netminder Heiser, and that's going to go on Steve's dangets. Probably not, but we can dream. But it was an opportune play by Andrew Porzonik that gets Central Michigan yet another shorthanded goal. This now, when scoring shorthanded, they are 2-1 on the campaign.
Keelan Baker, our second player to watch, unofficially did not touch the scoring, but we'll wait until the ACHA results post-game for that one. And then Adrian's Ryan Pino and Evan Bliss, the 2 players we had to watch, very, very dangerous on multiple chances, not just in the power play, but 5-on-5, 3-on-1s, and Elijah Jones saw it all, stopped it all, and that's a frustrating route for 2 players that just looked like they were a step better tonight, just couldn't find the back of the net.
And for this Adrian team, they came into tonight being outscored 37-4 in their last 4 games. They have now been outscored 41-4 in their last 5 games. A tough showing for the Bulldogs here tonight, but their biggest chances on offense came from Pino and Bliss.
Reagan, looking at our keys to the game, we talked about capitalizing on power play chances. CMU did that off of Andrew Siraki's goal, the second one of this hockey game. And even when the power play wasn't scoring, they looked a lot better cycling the puck, looked a lot more functional as an offensive unit, not just, like we said, the 5-on-5, but the power play.
Yeah, exactly. And the Central Michigan getting back on the power play unit getting back on the power play, scoring for the first time in 2 games. It's a great job for CMU, and they really showed 5-on-5 that they were the better team here tonight. Yes, they got the power play goal. Yes, they got the shorthanded goal, but they were a phenomenal team on 5-on-5.
Our second key to the game was get everyone involved, and 4 different scores for the Chips tonight. As we are going to talk about here in our 3 stars, spoiling a little bit, Connor Morgan and Jay Nadeau got involved, and really impressive from not just, like we talked about, Bottles and Porzonik, but Julian Johnson and Andrew Siraki with his 4th goal in 2 weekends. Really impressive from the freshman. Our third key to the game was the second half mindset. Coming back off of dropping 6 of their last 8, they came back to home ice tonight. Desperately needed a win. They got it, and they got it in dominating fashion.
Yeah, they did dominate here tonight with a 4-0 win, but they're going to have a challenge going into Arrington on Sunday. It's a tough place to play, an incredible environment for college hockey. You've got the hecklers in the bar above you at Arrington. They'll be throwing beers down at you. They'll
remember
be
last year, the
yelling and
waterfall
cursing.
on Whaley?
Oh, yeah. But for Central Michigan, you got to keep this going. Yes, you won here at home. That's not something that happens very often in this series between these 2 teams. Adrian has dominated here at Martin Ice Arena. This is only the 3rd win against this team that Central Michigan has had in their 10 years of hockey. So it's a big win for Central Michigan, a a drought ending here at Martin, and they got to carry it in to Sunday afternoon.
CMU is now 3-1-1 against Adrian since the COVID break. Looking at our 3 stars of the game, the third and second go to Connor Morgan and Jay Nadeau for both 2 assists on the night. The first 2 goals, they were all over the forecheck, and Connor Morgan had a couple of nice feeds. Jay Nadeau got some good play, especially in the neutral zone, and even when he was on the penalty kill. Plus was showing some 2 of those players. And our first star of the night, none other than Mr. Elijah Jones, the freshman from Port Huron, gets his 3rd win of the year, 2nd shutout. His last coming on October 1st against Lake Superior. And certainly this one, I'd say, is the more impressive one, and one showing that he can be an established netminder that not only gives confidence to this team, but really frustrates the opponents.
Yeah, and this really complicates the goaltending battle that we've been talking about all year. Lauren Jones has gotten most of the starts this year. He's played in 8 hockey games for Central Michigan, but Elijah Jones, the only goaltender on this team with a shutout. He has 2 of them on the campaign. He is now 3-1-1 on the year. We'll see what he can do coming up.
Absolutely, and we'll look ahead to Sunday when CMU rematches against these Adrian Bulldogs to finish the weekend series and the penultimate game of this first semester for the Chips, and that will take place at Arrington Ice Arena for a 4 p.m. puck drop, 3:35 broadcast time. You can catch myself and Reagan Cleaves on the call for that one, as we'll have all the action from the beautiful Adrian College, where CMU looks to continue the momentum after they swept and made a good showing of the Adrian Bulldogs tonight.
Exactly, and in the meantime, before Sunday, feel free to catch Derek Steele and Matt Ryder on the call from Chicago, Illinois, as the CMU D2 women's team take on the Loyola Chicago Ramblers in a 2-game set Saturday, Sunday. That Saturday game is 9, right, Derek? 9? Yeah, okay. They'll be on the air at 9 p.m. Derek Steele and Matt Ryder will have the call for you.
I was giving a little unprofessional phone check right there. Look at our out-of-town scoreboards. None updated from the ACH Division 3. We got to find out who runs that Twitter page, because they're on it some weeks and others they're not. No score updates tonight from our 4 MCHC games tonight. Michigan at Davenport, Saginaw Valley at Lawrence Tech. That one's a big one. Hopefully we'll have an update on that one, folks. If you want to check Twitter and the ACHA website for that one. Oakland at MSU, and then Calvin College at Hope. That was another big one, a Hockey House game to watch. So no score updates, unfortunately, but nonetheless, still impressive weeks here in the MCHC as teams continue their middle schedule interdivision play. For our out-of-town and the professional scoreboard, it says Reagan professionally uses his foot to turn the foot there, drawn by our producer.
Hey, it ain't on camera. Nobody saw it.
How you do it.
Nobody saw it.
Look, you can't even see mine. I'm too short, right? Y'all can't see the. Can we show?
Oh, yeah,
we'll show this one time. Let's show the Hollywood magic that shows here.
Step down.
No, I don't want to. I want them to see the feet. Show the feet, Derek. Show the feet right here. Get us a little zoom in. Look at this setup we got, folks. The 6'1", 6'2", whatever he is, Reagan Cleaves, and the 5'6", Devin Sarah with some TV magic.
This is how we make it work, folks.
We've always made it work this way.
We actually make Devin look tall.
And not to mention Calvin Keys, who also goes to Adrian College, looked even taller than you and made me look like an absolute midget when we were calling games together.
Made you look like one? You are one.
I am, yeah, a little bit.
Imagine Derek's shorter than you anyway. So.
Short, strong, and stout. That's my motto out here, folks. Our professional out-of-town scoreboard, the Red Wings took down San Jose last night, 7-4 the final in that one. The only game on today that we could see other than the Flyers and the Blue Jackets, which went to overtime in a 4-4 nod. Don't have a score update on that one, but the Canucks and the Kings. Canucks right now up 3-0. 3-1 heading into the second period. The Canucks have had a tough start to the year after they went winless in their first 9, and the Kings have been looking like a resurgent team, going to be a playoff team probably coming in July or June's time. So an impressive NHL slate. Just kidding. 2 games on the night, but nonetheless, that's what we've got for that one. And Reagan.
We also got the Grand Rapids Griffins.
Oh, yeah. What's the score on this one?
In action tonight in San Diego. At last check, they were up 3-1 at the end of one period of play. That was back at the end of the second period here, but you can go and watch the conclusion of that game on AHL TV or listen to it on News Radio Wood 1300 106.9 FM in Grand Rapids.
Finally, the Saginaw Spirit were slated to play a game today against Erie, and that one was canceled after weather impeded the travel for Saginaw. And boy, snowfall all around the Midwest and the part of the northeastern United States. Buffalo, unofficial. I gotta stop saying that. Unofficially, they had 6 feet of snowfall. I just saw that on Instagram, folks. I don't know. Point is, it's been a lot of snow here. We had the snowball Wednesday night in Mount Pleasant, and it's been snowing every day. But
next time we got a broadcast with Devin on color or Devin on play-by-play, take account of how many times he says unofficially.
We can make
I've been trying to
official
shake him with a habit.
Hey, we don't condone the use of drinking. Official CCHN drinking games are your
Oh,
own. But
goodness.
you can have one there for how many times you say phenomenal, I say unofficial, not to mention incoincidental. We're throwing it all out
And
there
how
today.
many times I make a complaint about
goodness.
the referees.
Well, I would take a timeout here, but that just about does it for our coverage here from Martin Ice Arena. The final score in this one, Central Michigan 4, Adrian College 0. As we mentioned, we'll be back from Adrian College, Arrington Ice Arena for a Sunday puck drop, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. The women's team, as we mentioned, in action in Loyola. And for everyone on our CCHN team, myself, Reagan Cleaves, and Derek Steele, we thank you for watching this production of Central Michigan Hockey. We'll be back Sunday night as Central Michigan takes down the Adrian Bulldogs 4-0 in this first game. Thanks for watching, everybody.